Tell him it messes up all my arrangements.
A ticket, 790 radio, presents The Geldy Show.
Yeah, it's me, Geldy, right here in your face, on the ticket. I got show. You better be careful, Neil. Management here is confident I'll smear the queer. The guy I sold my soul to assures me it ain't my last chance to be heard before I fade into oblivion. So there! Well. Here at 790, we want to appeal to a younger audience of sport holes. So, hi, boys and girls. Well, okay, hi, boys. Today, Uncle Geldy's going to teach us how to read the sports page. Okay, let's see, we got here? We got, Dolphin training camp. And over here we got, there's a jock who's schwitzing over here. You should look over here, you can get all the statistics. There. Oh, look, we got a phone call. Hiya, Mo.
I'm here to collect.
Huh?
It's time to pay up, you numbskull.
You can't have my soul yet.
Nah,
I haven't even
I've heard enough, see? You stink, pal. That's it. I'm taking your soul.
You gotta give me a chance. I mean, I want the voice of the pig. Oh, no! I'm drowning in the sea of
Now listen, if your squeak tolerance is kind of low and you don't want to turn over and hear Geldy right now, there you go. That's enough. That should pacify you for a little while. 10:02 at 560 WQM. Boy, I sound pretty good today. Sound like me, like full of energy. You might think I actually had 2 nights of sleep in a row. Solid right on through.
Oh!
Yeah, that's what I say. I say,
all right.
It's about time. Telling Larry King that his investigators are working on 30 solid leads of prominent Washingtonians engaged in sex scandals. Hustler publisher Larry Flynt said he's now just trying to decide how he'll reveal the names. The publication date for the names hasn't been finalized, Flint said, but Hustler could end up printing all 30 at once. The last thing now is, see, I could read it the way he speaks, but I don't want to do that because that would be like making fun of him. And, of course, he's in that wheelchair, and they tried to kill his ass because he's a creeper, you know.
He's a great man.
He is a great man, but he just can't speak, unfortunately. Although he survived anyway.
Yes.
The last thing now is we don't know if we want to let it drip, 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 or we want to go with everything at once, Flint said. But when you're talking about sex scandals and saying drip, 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 that doesn't sound really good.
You know better than that.
Oh, boy. Because if you got a real bad drip, you may brought home. In fact, that made me want to play that Jocelyn Elders bit, but of course we can't play it. Louisiana Senator David Vitter, a Republican. I can't even say the word anymore. It's a tongue-tie. A Republican who pressed family values issues admitted to hiring a prostitute from so-called D.C. Madam Deborah Jean Pelfrey after a reporter from Hustler called his orifice for comment. Flint said his investigators have been cooperating with Pelfrey and seeking to expose other hypocritical politicians in Washington. How unusual. He took out an ad in the Washington Post last month offering $1 million for information on politicians engaged in inappropriate sexual behavior. The ad generated 10 times as many leads as a similar request he made during former Bill Clinton's impeachment proceedings, bringing in more than 300 tips initially, Flint told King. They're down to about 30 now.
About 30, man.
Which is solid, Flint said. King asked whether Flint was surprised to see any of the names emerge in the investigation, but he encouraged Flint not to reveal any names during the broadcast, citing legal concerns. I was shocked, especially at one senator, Flint said. It's unclear whether Flint was referring to Vitter or another senator whose name is yet to emerge. Bruce David, Hustler's editorial director, refused to clarify Flint's remarks. No comment at this time, he said in an email to Raw's story, but he said it's pretty raw. Pelfrey appeared on King's show with Flint, and she estimated there could be as many as 100 high-profile names on the list. 100! Pelfrey's lawyer said he would be releasing another batch of names next week. There'll be another batch next week. How do you like that? Maybe we'll have a bachelor party or something like that.
That's a great idea.
Well, last night I'm watching the TV there about 11:30, and all of a sudden hear CNN hyperventilating. Oh, gee, it must be al-Qaeda. Every time somebody farts the wrong flavor, if it's really obnoxious and bad, like that bitch at Woodbine a few nights ago, it must have been al-Qaeda sitting on her chair. Or in her
rectum
dress or something, I don't know. In her shorts, in her knickers.
What word did you say?
Just faxed to me here. It says, from Phil in Gainesville, I noticed that today's poll had Steve Kane recording the most votes for the most obnoxious South Florida radio personality. Now, years ago when I lived in Miami, I recalled you and Steve worked at WNWS. Correct? Yes. I remember that Steve was quite liberal in those days. What happened? Well, that's the way it goes. Some people who used to be liberal are now born again and adopting 85 kids and the right wing and
are you sure?
Like that. Yeah, people that used to be liberal
are you sure?
are now right wing. Well, it's it became fashionable for a while. Then they didn't realize it would go out of fashion just as fast as it came in. No asbestos was detected in the air today after a steam pipe burst in Midtown Manhattan last night, killing one person, wounding 26 others as the ruptured pipe sent thick plumes of smoke and ash into the air. And CNN was there covering it, and, man, they were hyperventilating. Oh, al-Qaeda, it's a terror. Oh, I guess it's not. No, it's not. The city's Office of Emergency Management said that asbestos was detected in 6 of 10 samples of dust and debris taken from the area. The city's Department of Environmental Protection will continue to test the debris. People who may have come into contact with the steam or debris should take a shower and place their clothes in plastic bags for cleaning or disposal, the statement said. Take a shower, and even if you weren't in that area, even if you were like in Dubuque, take a shower. It's not a bad idea. People inside buildings in the frozen zone should keep windows closed and switch air conditioners to recirculate the air inside instead of drawing in air from the outside, drawing in all that mung from the outside. The area around the site was frozen because of the fear of asbestos in the air. Those in the frozen zone are allowed to stay in the area but should use caution. No one will be allowed to enter the zone from the outside. The New York Fire Department said 3 firefighters, 1 police officer were treated on the scene for minor injuries. Other 22 were transported to various hospitals. Bada beep, bada boop. Oh, and look at this. Michael Bloomberg said the person who died suffered from cardiac arrest. A steam pipe burst, and, of course, all the media are over there. Oh, gee, look at that. There's steam going up in here. It must be a terrorist attack. Mickey Chertoff, he knew his crap, baby.
Yeah, his gut feeling.
Yeah. Well, look at that. We got 744 votes on the poll already. And it started, I put it on there at 2 o'clock yesterday. Now, we got to find out who keeps shutting the pot off in that place. That's what I like to know.
Please, who?
I'm getting so sick and tired of that. Now, even when Muff was program director, we couldn't get that accomplished. And now that we got this incredibly idiotic sports nerd as program director, we know it won't be accomplished because they're all his little boyfriends. Even Robert Grieper, the Grim Reaper, the Lord of the Board, the station that's been whored and driving me out of my gourd. Good Lord. We got to, who keeps doing it?
Somebody who belongs in here, Mr. Uppity. Somebody doing sports-related stuff, Mr.
Oh, I see. Somebody that doesn't belong in there and that has no business potchking around with the equipment. Somebody
doing something important.
Shutting off the pot, the pot that's got the big sign out that says, don't touch this, don't turn it off.
What are you whining about?
Democratic and Republican presidential frontrunners held their leads in a new poll of New Hampshire voters. But there was some movement in the middle of the pack. I bet that movement came from somebody's...
Rectum.
Wouldn't surprise me. It's always a good place to start a movement. That's what my mother said. She didn't have too much success, but she always thought that was a really good place to start a major movement. Among New Hampshire Republican Senator John McCain slid to 12% from 20 in the June poll. He's down. Bomb, 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 Iran. He's a crazy person. And they talk about him like he has some clue. McCain came in 4th behind Fred Thompson of Tennessee, another fascist. Thompson, who hasn't yet entered the race officially but is setting up a campaign, got 13%. This is in New Hampshire. Former Massachusetts Governor Mitt Romney continues to lead Republicans. He's got 34%, 20% for Rudy Giuliani. Former Senator John Edwards slipped to a statistical tie with New Mexico Governor Bill Richardson. Edwards had 14% in June, but now is down to 9%, and Richardson had 11% in both. Swillery, Hillary Clinton had a solid lead, it says here, although it's not that big, over Barack Obama. Now that Oprah's going to support Barack Obama, now we should really be on the bandwagon, right?
Oh, yeah.
No. I mean, I'm on his bandwagon, but she gives me spilkies, man. It's just so sad. Hillary's got 36%, and Barack Obama's got 27%. 7% of Republican primary voters polled, and 10% of Democrats said they settle on a candidate. 15% of Republicans say they're very satisfied with their field of candidates. 32% of Democrats say they are. On the Democratic side, 16% of the voters surveyed said they wouldn't consider voting for Hillary under any circumstances. 15% said the same about Barack Obama, and 24% viewed Edwards as unacceptable. Let me say it again. Unacceptable. New Hampshire holds the nation's first presidential primary scheduled for January 22nd. Joe Biden had 4%. Little Dennis Kucinich had 3%. Chris Dodd had 1%, and former Senator Mike Gravel had less than 1%. Mike Huckabee and Ron Paul had 2%. Tommy Tancredo of Colorado and Wisconsin Governor Tommy Cheesehead Thompson had 1%. And Sam Brownback and Duncan Hunter had less than 1%. Tommy Cheesehead Thompson. He drank water out of a creek. He was an outdoors guy. Wasn't no anthrax. Right. You tell him, Tommy. You idiot. You moron. He's the guy who said that, remember? He couldn't believe how they hadn't poisoned the food supply yet.
Yeah, good idea.
So easy to do it, you know. We just can't believe. Today's Thursday, so that means at noon or thereabouts we'll be opening up the QAM store. And we got Rivals Waterfront Sports School. We got 50. What are they now? $100 certificates for $50? Is that what they are?
Yes.
Well, there you go. See, I got my thumb on it. I have some idea what's going on. Oh, look at this story. We'll eventually get to your poll from yesterday.
Whatever.
Wound up with 900 and... Chris says I cut it off at 2 o'clock and put the new one on there so it wouldn't get to 1,000.
Whatever.
The idea is to get to 1,000 during the show, Chris.
Is that the idea?
952 you wound up with. Boy, for you, that's pretty good. A California mother's been charged with beating her children ages 2 and 4 on a commercial aircraft and interfering with a flight crew. Bitch. Tamara Freeman, 38, who appeared in court Wednesday, was arrested on Monday at Denver International upon her arrival on a Frontier Airlines flight from Frisco. An FBI affidavit quotes passengers as saying Freeman appeared intoxicated, was abusive with her children before she boarded the plane, and repeatedly hit and yelled at them during the flight. The affidavit also alleges she threw a drink at the feet of a flight attendant, followed her into an aisle, yelling and pointing her finger, causing the attendant to intervene on the children's behalf to feel threatened. A spokesman for the U.S. Attorney's staff, which is prosecuting Freeman, said the children were handed over to a relative. If convicted on the felony charges, Freeman faces a maximum of 20 years in prison, but under federal sentencing guidelines, her sentence is likely to be much less severe. 20 years in prison for what? Getting a little tipsy and beating the crap out of her kids on the plane? I mean, I'm not saying her behavior was acceptable, but let's face it, 20 years. Thank God she didn't have like no joint on her. That would have been at least 50 years to life. No question about that. Probably get electrocuted. Probably stick her finger in the old socket. We got 760 on today's poll, but we're going to get 1,000 today just to make Chris happy.
No. Neil God.
46% of the American people polled want Bush impeached.
I think it's time that Bush and Dick disappear.
Yes.
All of their lies are being used to keep us deep in fear.
Terrorist.
We seem to know
Terror.
that they should be locked up, 'cause we are seeing our tax money fill their wallets up.
58% want Cheney impeached.
When there is torture, spying, and our Constitution has been shred, maybe Congress would react if an intern gave them head. It's time to impeach these a-holes. It's about time. Why not impeach these a-holes?
Those weapons of mass destruction got to be somewhere. Nope, no weapons over there. I made a serious mistake.
It's 10:18 at 560 WQAM. Happy Thursday to you. We got the Mad Dog at 2. Power Hour with Hank and the Mad Dog together between 4 and 5. That thing is going over like halava in Poughkeepsie. Hank Goldberg solo 5 to 6:30 with an oxygen tank. We got 6:30 the Marlin pregame show. 7:05 Marlins and the Reds right up the street at the old ballpark. Any interest in that ball game? And then game night with Eddie K after the baseball game. How are the Marlins doing, by the way, Chris? Are they in contention for that wild card? How are they doing?
Excuse me. They're not doing too bad.
Don't get choked up about it. They're what?
They're 6 or 7 games actually behind the Mets for the
wild card?
Well, no, for the wild card, they're probably about 5 or 6 games out.
I see. Well, for the division, they're 5 or 6 games back?
For the division, I think they're 7 games behind the Mets.
Wow, what a crap division that must be.
Correct.
Huh? Here's the poll that George took yesterday. Who's the craziest, looniest nutcase in music ever? Was this a Charlie B poll? It sure sounds like it.
Yes.
Oh. It's okay.
It's fine.
952 votes.
I didn't have to think of it.
Michael Jackson, I mean, why even take the poll? Because
exactly.
Michael Jackson had 56% of the votes, 536 votes out of 952. 536 say Michael Jackson is the craziest, looniest nutcase in music ever.
You fairy.
Phil Spector, 64. Hey, Phil. Courtney Love, 63. Ozzy Osbourne, 56. Britney Spears, 35. Sid Vicious.
About 30, man.
How's he doing? Brian Wilson, 27. Whitney Houston, 24. Wendy O. Williams, 19. I don't have any idea who that is.
Plasmatic. She's dead, too.
Oh.
Shot herself.
She shot itself?
Yes.
Rick James, 18. Jerry Lee Lewis, 16. Iggy Pop, 11. Ted Nugent, 10. Frank Zappa, 7. Oh, that's enough to make me want to play, what's that thing called? The Frank Zappa bit.
Bobby Brown.
Bobby Brown. Hey there, and I should play the whole thing.
Yes.
Hey there,
can't do it.
Why?
Can't do it.
He says spindle.
What does he say?
Spindle.
My car is fast. My teeth are shiny. I tell all the girls they can kiss my hiney.
Anyway, we love Frank Zappa on the show, and we're going to play Bobby Brown all day. R. Kelly 6, Ike Turner 6, Keith Moon 5, he was the Moon Man. Johnny Rotten 5, Rotten to the Core. Alice Cooper 5, Elton John 5. Liberace had 3, Lee, and Elvis 1. Elvis, well, I don't know if he was crazy or loony or a nutcase, but he was fat and bizarre and drugged up, and, he's all drugged up. Remember that song?
Yeah.
I'm all drugged up. Just kind of like Anna Nicole and her whole family, including that kid she had, who looked pretty good for a while before he died. I bet he ain't looking too good right now, though. I bet I'd probably take a pass on that. Okay, let's see what we got here on the poll today. Look at that, Chris. We got 778. Isn't that great?
That's awesome.
Well, yeah, it's not awesome because I put it on 201 yesterday.
Why you got to be telling people that?
What?
They don't have to know that.
Well, this is the honest show. I'm telling you right now, even though it hurts, I put it on 201. Well, first of all, because I didn't think that other poll was all that great. And secondly, I was anxious to put this on here. Because this is the kind of stuff that the audience really, they love to sink their teeth into this kind of crap.
I still think you just didn't want to see a 1,000-vote poll on
Yeah, right, that was it. The most obnoxious South Florida radio personality is, we have 778 votes, and look at the three-way hoss race we've got here. I don't think we have ever had a poll. I could be wrong about that. But I don't think we've ever had one with we've had two-way races that were pretty tight. But with three contenders, right down to the wire?
No, I can't recall. I can't recall ever.
Steve Kane, 140, which I think that's more than his audience. A man who's basically vanished from the airwaves on a station that nobody ever heard of, that nobody knows where it's on the dial, that nobody, even the people that work there, don't know what the call letters are. Steve Kane, 140. Sid Rosenberg, Krantz, Steen, Schwartz, 136. And that's really amazing, because here's a guy that's been in the market for 5 minutes, and almost nobody knows who he is, and yet they know he's obnoxious and disgusting and revolting, and everything that the world hates about New York City. That's Sid the Kid, 136. He's right on Steve's ass. And the Humper has got 130. And Hanker, he's right on both their ass.
That was funny.
Well, and if you're walking around with him on your ass, wow, what a heavy load to carry. And Dan LeBastard is starting to move into the running. He's making a move. Danny Boy's got 101. Although I think only the top three are really contenders. I think Danny is nolo contendere, including in the book. Oh, and don't forget, 2 weeks from yesterday, George.
Yeah, book.
Well, you're
August
on that
1st.
day, August,
I know.
El Primero de Agosto.
I'll hit the highlights, or the lowlights, as they might...
Don't say lowlights. How about the shylights?
What about
Dan LeBastard, 101. George Rodriguez, 67, a very respectable fifth, although not anywhere near those top four. Neil Rogers, 57. You got me by 10. Most obnoxious South Florida radio personality. We're not talking about syndicated people, by the way. Somebody sends me an email on MySpace this morning. Oh, what about Opie and Anthony? They're not locals. They're not South Florida personalities, okay? They're syndicated. Do they understand the difference, this audience, or what?
No.
Well, too bad. Geldy, 47. Stu Gotts, 27. Kenny Walker, 21. Hey, everybody. Jim Andis, 20. Joe Rose, 19. Kimba Bocamper, 18. And the big O, Orlando Alsaquiri. He was, I'm sorry, I want to apologize to him, because I forgot about him. He was an afterthought. We had him on there this morning. He's up 2. He's got 4 out of 793. Only 4 votes. Well, who the hell gets up at that time in the morning anyway? He's on from 5 to 7 in the morning. Am I right?
Yeah.
Even George doesn't hear his show, and of course you know George is tuned religiously to these
That's
sports shows.
a good one.
Brattleboro, Vermont. Boy, I had a friend when I lived in Boston in the early 60s. I had a friend from Brattleboro, Vermont. He was one of the hottest-looking guys I have ever seen in my life. I just thought I'd mention that. And I forgot all about him until I saw this story from Brattleboro. Ever been there?
No. I've never been to Vermont.
Vermont's infamous Naked Town is under orders to keep its pants on. On a 3-2 vote, town officials passed an emergency rule Tuesday banning nudity on the main roads, and within 250 feet of any school or place of worship, among other places, anyone still determined to go window shopping au naturel could face a $100 fine.
Oh, we're fine.
Tiny Brattleboro has long been a live and let live kind of place where skinny dipping was a rite of summer. Last summer, though, it began flirting with a nudity ban after a group of teenagers took to hanging around a downtown parking lot in the buff. Officials decided to let winter take care of the problem and never voted. Once winter came, on came the clothes. It took an elderly man wearing only a fanny pack and wandering through the center of town last week for the select board to decide it had seen enough.
That's right.
You know that guy with the fanny pack? That's him.
Those old men, man, keep it covered.
People have a reasonable expectation that when they're going out, they're not going to run into any nude people, said board member Dick DeGray, who wrote the ordinance. The nudists and their fans still get a say in the matter. Next month, Brattleboro will hold a public hearing on whether the ordinance should be made permanent, a pubic hearing. The ordinance defines nudity as the showing of genitalia, buttocks, or female breasts. A provision allows breastfeeding in public, though. When in doubt, whip those babies out. Board member Dora Buboulis, who voted against the ordinance, worried about the precedent it would set. I understand a lot of people find it uncomfortable to be faced with someone nude, she added, but we're careful not to legislate morality. That's right. If you want to run around stark naked, well, why the hell not? I think it's a grotesque idea. Unless, of course, I get to pick the people who can run around naked. Then it's a wonderful idea.
Sure, we'll form
like my friend from Brattleboro, although now he would be my age, and God forbid he should be... Maybe he was the guy with the fanny pack. Wouldn't surprise me. I'll tell you what else wouldn't surprise me is when I refresh this baby and I clicked it right now, we're going to have 800 votes. How do you like that?
All right.
Almost like we know what we're doing here today. That's a real change. Maybe that's because I'm coherent today.
Banana Republic, baby. Only in Miami.
That girl.
Welcome back to the Ken Go No Homo Show. We have Jim Noggle joining us a little later on.
All right, man. Praise the Lord. He's a good and decent man.
How do you figure that?
Well, he's middle-aged and white, you know. That's all you gotta be.
He's the mayor of Fort Lauderdale, right?
Something like that. Naughty Noggle.
Yeah, he's cleaning up Fort Lauderdale, so it'll be okay for Jesus to go there.
Sure. Homosexuality is a sin, man. Says it right there in God's playbook. And that's the situation.
Well, he's got to get rid of the homos to get more dates for sport hole lickers like us. That's why he calls us here at an all-gay sport hole station.
Look, every man has his needs. Just because it's only men on our mind don't make us some kind of queer or something. At least now and then we think of a female.
Yeah.
You know? I mean, if you need some immediate sexual satisfaction, man, you know, like right away you can tune into us.
Sounds like you did a lot of research on this topic.
Not really. I learned it by mimosa.
I mean, our entire morning show is based on the love of men.
A real man can show his love for men and maybe steal a kiss from a pretty girl.
Yeah, on a park bench or something.
That's right, man. Like, put your knees together real tight and lean over and, like, just steal a kiss from a pretty girl. Women are just objects you occasionally pay attention to when you're horny.
Yeah.
I mean, that's the manly way. I mean, like, you know, dude, I'd put my wife outside the house when she has her monthly gusher, you know?
This coffee.
What?
Didn't you make the coffee this morning?
Yeah, man. Special brew.
It tastes funny.
Should be tangy. I use an old jockstrap for a strainer.
Good to the last drop, that's what I'm hearing. 10:32 at 560 WQM. Happy Thursday. Don't forget at noon we'll open that QAM store. And we've got, what, 50 of those certificates for rivals?
Jess.
About 50?
I don't know.
811 votes is what we got on the poll, boy. This poll's going over bigger than freaking Mary Tyler Moore, and it's a real dogfight. Oh, don't tell that to Michael Vick. It's a dogfight. Talk about sick. We'll get to that eventually. It's in my pile. Steve Kane, 145. Sidney Rosenberg, Krantz, Schwartz, Steenberg, 141. And Hank Goldberg, 134. Now, see, I could say 3 live Jews there, but, of course, Steve is no longer Jewish. He's born again off the air, basically. Isn't that what he is? I don't know what he is.
Who?
Mr. Ego.
Oh, I don't know.
Who used to be Jewish and used to be liberal, but now he's Mr. Right-wing, homophobe, born-again Christian on a make-believe station. He's got 147, Sid the Kid's got 142, and the Humper's got 135. It's a 3-way race out of 815 vote. Man, oh man, it is the most obnoxious South Florida radio personality. Speaking of obnoxious, Bill Parenza should be reassigned and not permitted to return as director of the National Hurricane Center, according to a special team sent to investigate the management crisis at the center. Boy, it's a damn good thing there ain't no hurricane bearing down on Florida right now, because they got all kinds of tourists going on there. The team's final report, released just before the beginning of a congressional hearing on the matter, said Parenza had become a divisive force at the center and lost the confidence of much of his staff. I think part of it may have been that every time there was like a cloud in the sky, he would go to the window and open it up and stick his finger out the window. In the way, isn't that kind of like the way they run this radio station? That's what they do.
No.
Jolly Joe, he goes to the window and sticks his finger out the window.
Nope.
How do they run it?
They don't.
In the wake of a staff unit, yeah, this thing about the pot being closed with a feed every day, You know, you need to go in there to clearance right now and jump up and down on his desk like Rumpelstiltskin and say, cut the crap already, will you please?
Nope.
No, why?
No, because he's not going to care, so why would I waste my time?
Well, screw him.
No.
In the wake of a staff mutiny, Parenza was placed on indefinite leave last week from the center, also known as the Tropical Prediction Center. The current TPC director should be reassigned and not allowed to return to his position at the center, said the report by the team. This should be done due to his failure to demonstrate leadership within the TPC, rather than his public statements about the quick scat satellite or NOAA leadership. I don't think we can say quick scat. What word did you say, Joyce? Anyway, they were testifying this morning to a congressional committee investigating the situation at the Forecasting Center in West Dade County. Well, how do you like that? Well, there's more on that Brazil plane crash. You notice with that really short 5-foot runway they got? I don't understand how that happened.
Très tragique.
That's probably a good lesson to a lot of you people out there. I don't want to pick on any Brazilians because I'm sure we may have one or two out there listening, but do not be flying into like banana boat countries and 10th world countries and places where they have a lot of plane crashes all the time. Did you see that runway?
Like here? Yeah.
It's about as long as my arm.
5 feet long and slick.
Yeah, slick. And they hadn't put the grooves yet in the new pavement. They hadn't grooved it yet. So, you know, we could play Feeling Groovy. Probably not a good idea. Because a lot of people died. Don't be making a joke when a lot of people died. 819 votes on the poll today. How's Orlando doing? He's holding up the rear. He's got only 5 votes. But again, he was a late addition. I mean, he's easy to forget about because he's on, you know. Now, what about the Defoe? I mean, he's not on the air right now. He's unemployed. But you want to put him on there?
No.
Why not?
Because he's not on the air right now. He's unemployed, as someone just said.
But he's a South Florida radio personality.
Right.
If you know,
whatever.
Give a lot of leeway to that term. You don't want to put Defoe on there?
Yeah, why not?
Go ahead,
Chris. Do something.
Put Jeff DeFlorist on there, please. Because I don't want to leave anybody out.
I absolutely want to puke.
Do we know? How about Jim DeFetus? Do we want to put him on there? The 800-pound gorilla?
You tell us. We'll put it on there if you want.
Jim DeFetus. 820 vote. Kane, 147. Rosenberg, 142. And Goldberg, 138. Sounds like a freaking law firm. Kane, Rosenberg, and Goldberg. And Schwartz. And Danny LeBastard, boy, still got 101. You got 72, and I got 59. You got me by 13 votes. Prosecutors are considering filing charges against some Caesars Indiana casino patrons who walked away with too much cash from a malfunctioning slot machine. You know something? This is a pile of crap. If it's malfunctioning, that's the casino's problem, okay? If it's pouring me out $80 zillion, I'll take it, especially after last night. Not good. Harrison County prosecutors have asked the Indiana State Police for casino videotapes and other evidence from the machine that malfunctioned last July. It was a malfunctioning machine, man, said Chief Deputy Prosecutor John Colin. Caesars lost $487,000 to patrons who used the machine installed with new software that wasn't designed for U.S. currency. The machine gave gamblers $10 credit for each dollar they put in. I like that. A Caesars spokeswoman said some of the players returned the money after being contacted by the Southern Indiana Casino, but she didn't know how many or how much they returned. Stupid bastards. Why would you do that?
Really?
The investigation was still pending partly because it's taken longer than expected to obtain casino records. A decision on whether to bring charges could come within a couple of weeks. This is a bit of an unusual case because you've got to go back and piece together who did what, he said. Caesars found out about the mistake when Catherine Ford of Louisville, Kentucky noticed the slot machine had registered $200 when she put in 20. She and her husband alerted Caesars employees, but by then, more than 24 gamblers had played the device, the machine. Well, what a bitch. She alerted the employees. What an idiot.
There's always one, isn't there?
Yeah, always got to be some goody two-shoes bitch. Well, I only put in that 20. It gave me $200 credit. Well, geez, I just keep shoving the money in there. Put in about 500, you're going to get, what? 5,000. $5,000, Dumbo. Ford told the Courier-Journal of Louisville she thought it was unfair to go after patrons. When a slot machine jams and gamblers lose money, they don't get it back, she said. It doesn't work in reverse, Ford said. They need to forget it and move on. Colin said criminal intent may be involved when people played a machine that they knew was faulty. Well, you know what? Too bad. Tough bananas. Your mama sews socks in hell. That's what I say to the casino. And how are they going to prove it anyway? I mean, I know they've got the videotape. That they're taping it. Well, if you pick your nose, man, they're watching you.
Mm-hmm.
If you cut the cheese, man, they're watching. In fact, they're smelling it up there in the control room, in that big master control room where they, put the machines on slow cook. On the death program where you keep hitting the button and nothing happens for like half an hour, 45 minutes, hour, 2 hours, 3 hours. It's the death mode. The only thing better than the death mode is the Pyala. 821 on our world-famous pool. What's Chris think? Well, let's get to 1,000 first, and then we can go for the moon.
Who's going to give Ricky a blow?
In an effort to slam dunk childhood obesity, this station presents Shaquille O'Neal's Big Challenge Tip of the Day.
Hey, kids, instead of eating them ho-hos, why not eat an apple?
Stay tuned to this station for another Shaquille O'Neal's Big Challenge Tip of the Day.
10:44, 16 till 11 at 560 WQM. I have a feeling this show is going to go by like greased lightning, whatever the hell that means. What is greased lightning?
Well, lightning is very fast, and if you put grease on it, it's even faster.
Oh, if you grease it up?
That's
what
right.
about the lightning? 831 votes. I know somebody on the lightning I'd like to grease up, but that's beside the point, Brad Richards. Don't go into that. Oh, speaking of that kind of stuff, the Roman Catholic Archdiocese of Miami has settled a sexual abuse lawsuit that named a priest who acknowledged having inappropriate encounters with former U.S. Representative Mark Foley.
You fairy.
How do you like that? With Miss Foley. The settlement was announced yesterday in a lawsuit unrelated to the Foley case. A man who was an altar boy at St. James Church in North Miami alleged the Reverend Anthony Marciaca sexually abused him in the 1970s when he was about 13 years old. Not the Reverend, the guy. The man, identified only as John Doe, 26, claimed Marciaca molested him in the church's bell tower after a bicycle ride together. I wonder if they were on a bicycle built for two.
Cute.
The lawsuit was filed October 25, about a month after Foley, a Florida Republican, resigned from Congress after his sexually explicit computer messages to a young male pages surfaced. His lawyer later said Foley...
What word did you say?
I said Foley's in the pokey. Wow. Maybe a little bit too much pokey smoky.
I like folky music.
His lawyer later said Foley was alcoholic, gay, and had been molested as a boy by a clergyman. Well, that's a good excuse. Yeah, that's a good name for him. Mark Foley. Marciaca later said he massaged Foley in the nude, and they swam naked together, but denied having sex with Foley. Well, I think that, that's a good thing for your family priest to be doing, to give you a little massage and swim naked. The lawsuit has settled more than $10 million in damages. Terms of the settlement were confidential, said the man's attorney, Jeffrey Herman. Marciaca is retired to the island of Malta in Europe. His attorney there, Alfred Grech. I wonder if he's kin to Todd Dreck. Declined comment because he wasn't aware of the settlement or the lawsuit. Phone messages and emails to Archdiocese spokeswomen were not returned. Settlements have also been reached in two separate lawsuits alleging sexual abuse by another former South Florida priest, Neil Doherty. The terms of the settlements are confidential. A message left for Doherty's attorney, David Bogenschultz, was not immediately returned. One of the lawsuits claimed Doherty sexually abused a boy starting when the child was 9 during the 90s at St. Vincent's Church in Margate. The sexual abuse occurred between 1996 and 2000 while the boy was unconscious or semi-conscious after binging on drugs and booze, according to a lawsuit filed in 2004. According to Florida law, there's no statute of limitations if the victim is under 12. Criminal charges are still pending against Doherty, who worked in the Archdiocese for 3 decades before being placed on administrative leave in 2002. Doherty's been the subject of at least 10 sex abuse lawsuits against the Archdiocese, including a new lawsuit filed yesterday by a man who claims the priest sexually abused him in the mid-'70s when he was about 12 years old at St. Anthony's. The man who isn't named is seeking more than $25 million in damages. All you people that keep putting money on the plate every Sunday, I hope you're really pleased to know what money's all doing a wonderful thing.
Sure. Well, they're bringing the children
was
to
among
church,
7 lawsuits against the Archdiocese filed yesterday and June 15, naming Doherty and 5 other priests in claims of sexual abuse of a child. These brave victims who are coming forward are really helping begin the healing process, Herman said. First there was squealing, and now there's healing. Sherry in Weston says to Neil and George, and I have no idea what
me
this
either.
is.
I can't make it out. But nice. Thank you, Sherry.
It's a fax of like a little cartoon or something. I can see that it says, I don't know.
We don't know.
Father's, what does it say?
I don't know.
I have no idea. Because it didn't come out.
Thank you, Sherry.
Thanks, Sherry, from Weston, but it's just a black blur. So whatever it was, I'm sure it must have been very entertaining and even amusing, but I haven't got no idea what it was, Sherry. Rhymes with, but nevertheless. Okay, let's take a look at how this hot contest is going over here. Don't forget Rivals Waterfront Sports Grill in Hollywood is where we have the certificates, $100 certificates for $50. We got 50 of those, and starting around noon, we'll open WQM.com. I wonder if it's going to be like last week. Remember that?
I don't know. That
we
was
went
a
into
record.
that break. We went into the break. They opened the thing up right before noon.
And that's on vacation,
like
but I assume they're coming in today. Nobody told me.
Who's coming in? Rivals?
It's Thursday. Isn't that how the way
I'm going to tell you something. Duff is really, I don't know. He dropped the balls on this one.
Barney said yesterday about 11:30.
Oh, excellent.
Yeah, see, there you go, George. Always picking on people when you don't know the facts. Always starting
Wasn't
some
picking
crap.
on anybody.
Picking on poor Muff.
Just asking.
And I don't think this is even Muff's account. He's just...
Correct. He's on vacation also.
It's Barney Miller's account.
Oh, Muff is on vacation?
I believe that.
So. Yes.
Where did she go?
I don't know.
The most obnoxious South Florida radio personality, we have 834 votes, but I'm going to click that baby again. 837. They're coming in chunks, and that's because we got a phenomenal horse race. Steve Kane, 148. Sid Rosenberg, Kranz, Schwartzsteinberg, 147. Hank Goldberg, 138. So with the three of them there are only 10 votes apart separating them. Dan LeBastard is, he's given it a good shot, but he's a little short, like usual, 104. George, 73. Neil's 59. Gildy's got 52 votes. No, we asked who was the most obnoxious, not the squeakiest of them all. I noticed Foxy Roxy was doing a recorded spot this morning instead of Gildy.
Correct.
Now, is the squeak factor involved in that? Is that what sells, I guess? Because I never realized before I heard that spot how much alike they sound. Roxy Bernstein and Gildy, they squeak together. Gildy's got 52. Stu Gott's 28. Jim Mandich, 22. Kenny Walker, 21. Joe Rose, 20. Kimbo Kemper, 19. Orlando Elzaquiri's got only 5. Jeff DeFlores, see, he got a vote, I told you. And Jim DeFetus don't have any. I guarantee you, if we could vote by the pound, Jim DeFetus, he even blows the humper away, and me, and everybody. Jim DeFetus, a giant in the radio industry. Now, what did he have that he was in the hospital for or something there? What did he have?
Fat.
He had fat? He had wall-to-wall fat? Hey, Doc, I got a fat problem. Can you help me? Can you come and do something? Stick a long...
Tube!
What do they call that? Liposuction?
That's something they call it, yeah.
Where they stick the long...
Tube!
And they suck out the fat.
Suck the fat out of your fanny?
Suck the fat off my fanny and off my ass and off my pupik. Suck the fat off my pupik. That's my favorite. But anyway, we don't have time for that. It's too long. It's not really a good bit.
Sure it is.
Is it? You like it?
Yeah.
Really?
You like it? Maybe I do. You like it?
Oh, man, you talk about beating me to the punch. I hadn't even hit the button yet.
Punch.
To move there. A new appraisal that al-Qaeda is back in business fueled an angry Democratic clamor for George Bush to end the war in Iraq and focus on eliminating Osama bin Laden's resurgent network. Of course, people forget, including the media, that before the Iraq attack, there was no al-Qaeda in Iraq. There was no such thing. But that Osama, he works in mysterious ways. The latest U.S. National Intelligence estimate released this week received acrimonious arguments over whether Bush has made the U.S. more or less vulnerable to terrorism, as if there's some kind of debate. The administration pushed its line that the U.S. is safer but not yet safe as a result of its actions since the 9/11 attacks of 2001, and now is not the time to abandon the new front of the war on terror in Iraq. It's the war on terror. Adamant that al-Qaeda wants a foothold in Iraq to spread their poisonous ideology, Bush said the group responsible for 9/11 strikes would have been a heck of a lot stronger today had we not stayed on the offense. Right. The NIE's key judgments on the terrorist threat to the U.S. concluded that al-Qaeda is gaining strength in a lawless zone of Pakistan on the border with Afghanistan. Let me say it again. They're getting strength in Pakistan. What did I tell you about that place? About those schmata heads.
And aim 'em at a fella whose first name begins with A.
Nice. I beat you on that one.
I know. I was trying to get on the beat.
As a result, we judge the U.S. currently is in a heightened threat environment, said the report. The considered view of U.S. spy masters and analysts. It said al-Qaeda's protected or regenerated key elements of its homeland attack capability, including a safe haven in the Pakistan federally administered tribal areas, operational lieutenants, and its top leadership. In Pakistan, that's what we should have blown up, and Saudi Arabia, those two. First, we should have gone to Saudi Arabia and hooked up to the oil fields, and then we should have blown the rest of it up, including that Bandar Bush, all those, that whole royal family, a bunch of royal pains in the ass. What's wrong with corruption? What's wrong with that? Nearly 6 years on from the 9/11 attacks, which killed about 3,000 people, Bush critics demanded to know why their prime architects are still on the run and redoubled the calls for an early withdrawal of U.S. troops from Iraq. It's called obfuscation is what it's called, boys and girls. It's called a cloud of smoke. After almost 6 years, awesome sacrifices by our brave men and women in uniform, hundreds of billion dollars spent, we're no safer than we were after 9/11, said Barack Obama. This is a consequence of waging a misguided war in Iraq that should never have been authorized and failing to seize the opportunity to do lasting harm to the extremist networks that pose a direct threat to our homeland, he said. It's time to act to correct those mistakes, and the first step is to get out of Iraq because you can't win a war when you're on the wrong battlefield. The intelligence report maintained that al-Qaeda in Iraq has become the most visible and capable affiliate of bin Laden's network with an intent to attack the U.S. Isn't that wonderful? Isn't that nice? Very nice. They weren't there before we threw Saddam out, but now they're there and they're having a field day. The Iraqi branch helps al-Qaeda as a whole to energize the broader Sunni extremist community, raise resources, and to recruit and indoctrinate operatives, including for homeland attacks. Former Senator John Edwards, with a slick haircut, said the NIE was proof positive that Bush's war on terror was nothing more than a bumper sticker and Iraq was a dangerous diversion. The administration has failed America 6 years after 9/11. Bin Laden is still alive. Al-Qaeda is more powerful now than ever before, and we have fewer allies, he'd be saying. That's John Edwards with a slick haircut and the wife with the breast cancer. With the rare all-night session of the Senate Tuesday into Wednesday, Democrats battled anew to force a plan through to get most U.S. combat troops from Iraq home by the end of April. But despite help from several Republican rebels, they fell short of the 60-vote supermajority in the 100-member chamber. What was that guy's name again? Mark Folke.
Oh, yeah.
Who belongs in the Pokey. Well, there you go. I wonder if he's kin to Mike Stokey, whatever his name was. Panama Quiz with Hermione Gingold and Hans Conried. Chickeneck remembers that, and he and I are the only ones. That's what happens when you get old. You remember a lot of useless crap, and people look at you like, what you be talking about? And then you say, who's Wendy O. Williams? Right. And then George looks at Chris like, oh, my God.
No, I mean, that's ancient anyway.
Yeah. Who is she?
She was the lead singer from the Plasmatics, and now she's dead.
She's dead? What, with a gunshot? How about Terry Katz? Is he still dead from Chicago?
Who?
Terry Katz, who put a gun to his head. Bada bing, you know. He was playing Russian roulette with all full chambers, with Maryland chambers. 856 votes on there. Defoe's got a pair. How do you like that? Jim DeFetus don't have any. People are afraid if they vote for him that the fat's going to rub off. Good God. What do you think he weighs? About 800, 1,500 pounds?
I don't know how tall he is. So.
He's a big boy, about 3 feet. 3 feet tall and about 10 feet wide.
I don't know, 500.
Jim Fee, you think he weighs 500? Easy. Sure. Oh, my God. Are you kidding me? They have to put, you know those meat scales they have, like at the supermarkets?
Mm-hmm.
That's what they put him on. They hang him by a hook.
I heard he has to go to a weigh station for like trucks.
On a meat scale. I can't tell you what kind of hook it is, though. I think it's called a Schmidt hook. I think that's what the Germans call it, a Schmidt hook. That's bad. That was really bad. That was a cheap shot at Jim DeFetus, who I'm sure is a brilliant broadcaster. Not. But he's fat. Makes me feel like Skinny Atlas. The most obnoxious South Florida radio personality. We only need to give you those top three.
You got a two-way tie for first.
Look at that. We got a dead even Steven. Mr. Ego, Steve Kane, 150. Sid Rosenkrantz, Schwartz, 150. And the Humpers got 142. We got a battle going on, baby. A battle royal. Huh?
143.
143 what?
That's what he has, not 142.
Oh, for the Humper. Well, excuse me. I'm
yeah, you're a little late. Oh, 144 now.
Behind.
This is the Neil Rogers Show. This is your brain. Any questions?
What you doing on this flight? I'll just put my feet where I think they belong. You wanted to be all alone, but I had the seat in 17B. You pushed my leg over, but I survived. I think it's just pitiful to say that my leg takes up your room. I'm not homosexual, but I know a bitch when I see one. Yes, you got a nasal full, saying my foot smell you can't stand. Yes, that fight was almost canned because you were pitiful. Gosh, how I hate women, but I'm not homosexual.
No, we know that.
Really, I'm not.
Yeah. No, you're not homosexual, just
gay.
Just happy, that's all, gay and happy. It's 11:02 at 560 WQM. And Doug, thank you, Doug. How could we have forgotten this name for our list today, boy?
Right.
Paul Castronova. I beg your pardon?
I think we should do it over.
Start over again?
Mm-hmm. Reset.
Yeah, you're just doing that because you're jealous of the fact that we got 878 votes. And you know we're going to make 1,000 easy, maybe even this hour, although I sure doubt it. That would be, no, it's not going to happen. But it happened like around 12:30ish. And right around 12-ish, we'll be doing that thing with the Rivals gift certificate. Now, they're not gift. They're like, well, they're whatever they are.
Certificates.
878 votes on the poll, and that top spot man in the biggest a-hole, the most obnoxious South Florida radio personality, is really up for grabs. It's up in there. But Mr. Ego continues tenaciously hanging on.
Hank Goldberg's moved up.
The humper, though, is right on their tail now. Well, it takes a little while for him to get the energy up, you know. He's got to take a lot of extra oxygen to get that momentum. But once he gets the big mo going... Steve Kane, 156, Sid Rosenkrantz, 151, and Hank Goldberg, 150. Wow. And look at that. George has got me beat by 20 votes now. You got 79, I only got 59.
All right.
Yeah. Paul Castronova, we got him on there now or what?
Yes.
Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
Jim DeFetus, he can't get a vote. Nobody even knows who the hell that is. And Castronova doesn't have any votes, but you just put him on there. Oh, he'll get a bunch.
Hank's in second now.
Hank just passed Steve Rosenkrantz Schwartz by a vote. 156 for Mr. Ego, 152 for Hank, and Sid Rosenberg, 151. I should just sit here and read the poll numbers all day, because this is like election night. Back in the day, before they had all these projections, you know, when like 10 people have voted, well, we project, NBC News projects, the polls just closed 2 minutes ago, and Ohio goes to Bush, you know, like that. You know what I mean? Back in the day, before you guys were born, and most of you listening were born, it used to be a pretty exciting election night, because they, you know, they would wait till the votes came in. Well, we got 4% of the vote in New York, and, you know, Schmendrick's got 10 votes, whatever it was. And they actually counted votes. Now they have all this exit polling. And, of course, isn't that interesting? The exit polling in 2004 showed that Kerry was for sure going to win that election. Isn't that interesting?
Mm-hmm.
Including in Ohio. But no, surprise! Surprise! Because those of you who thought you voted for Kerry, about maybe 5-10 million of you, you actually wound up voting for Bush. There's that Tony Harris again. Uh-oh.
Into court.
Yeah, seriously, he needs to be taken out for a long walk. Wow, he gives me spilkies, Tony Harris. I don't know, how can he be on the air? He is, to me, the most objectionable. I would rather watch Bill O'Reilly have sex with Pat Buchanan than watch Tony Harris for 1 second. He's just smug and obnoxious. The whole concept of his delivery is just, it's unacceptable is what it is. Oh, and speaking of unacceptable, Fox News yesterday presented a debate between two Iraq war veterans with opposite positions. Peter Hegseth of VetsForFreedom.org said the announcement of the capture of an al-Qaeda leader in Iraq was great news that continues to reinforce the fact that we're fighting more than just a nationalistic insurgency there. Iraq will be the front line in their global war against America. John Soltz of VoteVets.org replied that obviously the surge is like spitting in the ocean. We need 160,000 combat troops just for Baghdad. Unfortunately, he said, President Bush has destroyed the armed forces of the U.S., and the military is completely overextended. We can't maintain these force levels, he'd be saying. When asked to speculate about the state of Iraq if the U.S. pulls out, Soltz replied, that depends on how we leave. If we come up with a responsible plan like we have in the Reed-Levin bill, it can be very different. He said further that if we stay in Iraq, leaving American forces in this level not only destroys our ability to project force, but it strengthens Iran and al-Qaeda. Hegseth argued that if the U.S. left, Iraq would become a safe haven part 2 from which al-Qaeda could attack our allies in Europe. Soltz responded that if we continue to stay in Iraq, we leave this country vulnerable to terrorist threats from the people who attacked this country on 9/11. But like there's some big debate about it. You know, that's what cracks me up. Oh, the sun is going to shine again someday. Oh, let's have a debate on that, okay, on Fox News. Sounds like some kind of Al Gore, Kami Pinko plot to promote that phony baloney global warming theory, you know?
Mm-hmm.
And, of course, Al Gore invented that. Not those scientists, it was Al Gore, just like he invented the Internet. So there's that big smoke in New York.
In the middle of that hole, as you can see, is a tow truck that fell into that pit after the steam pipe exploded.
Oh, don't ever put your foot under a tow truck.
Or
890, 890 votes on the poll. This is dramatic. This is the best race we have ever had. This is like a horse race, like almost a triple dead heat. The most obnoxious South Florida radio personality is Steve Kane, who, like I said, continues tenaciously holding the lead, 156. Hank Goldberg, the humper, is making his move now. Watch out for those big fat people once we get a little momentum, 154. And Sid Rosenschwartzkranzberg, 152. Danny LeBastard, 106. He's like hanging around, but he's not really in the running. We got a three-way house race. Aren't you excited? This is the most exciting thing since before Greg Reed got canned, and then they pretended he was like promoted or something. Well, he's going to be leaving to pursue other endeavors, and he's going to be a consultant to the, you know. And then they shoved him over on the other side of the power. How long did that last? How many days?
About 30 minutes.
about 30 seconds that lasted. What was that all about anyway? Do you have any idea?
I don't.
Some really strange things happen in that building outside in that company.
Mm-hmm.
Strange things. It all depends on who's flashing which naked pictures on which particular day.
Apparently, it doesn't have to do with good business practices or making money or anything.
No, monkey business practices.
Sure.
We're not in the business of business. We're in the business of monkey business. Keeping the faith. Oh, this is a good story. This is funny. Do you have a pioneering spirit? Read the recent ad in the Jewish Week newspaper of New York. Are you searching for a meaningful community where you can make a difference? The generations of American Jews, the pitch had a familiar ring, but this was not an invitation to settle the Promised Land. It was a call to repopulate New Orleans.
Boy.
New Orleans, a city less known for its Jewish culture than for its shellfish sin and pre-Lenten carnival. New Orleans' Jewish population, in fact, has long been a subtle but important ingredient in this curious dish of a city. But its numbers, though always small, have declined precipitously since Hurricane Katrina. Of the 10,000 Jews in the area before the storm, 7,000 remain. With fewer dues-paying members, some synagogues and Jewish service agencies have been kept afloat by donations from Jews around the country, but the bulk of the largesse, provided by nonprofit United Jewish Communities, dries up at the end of the year. The Jewish community is by no means New Orleans' most afflicted demographic, but Jewish leaders don't want to see a single Jewish institution closed. They don't want to consolidate any of the 7 synagogues into Chabad centers that offer a full range of religious observance. The issue is plain. We need people, said Jackie Goffett, president of Congregation Beth Israel, a modern Orthodox synagogue that's seen more than 40% of its members move away oy vey. So Jewish New Orleans has cooked up a novel solution, a recruitment drive with an ad campaign crafted by an Israeli. Why don't they just open up a bunch more delis would be a good idea. Wouldn't that be a way to go?
Sure,
a good way
I
to
might
fly?
go for that.
An ad campaign crafted by an Israeli public relations firm. The city's Jewish leaders are hoping to attract at least 1,000 Jews to the city over the next 5 years. Won't you please move to New Orleans? They will appeal to potential pilgrims' better nature, stressing the Jew. I don't think there are going to be that many Jews or anybody else moving to New Orleans because there are too many desperate Schwarzers there right now, and that's not good. The whole demographic of that city is like upside down. And, of course, that's the main reason that the Bush administration didn't care about New Orleans, because a lot of dark folks there. It's a chocolate city, like Ray Nagin would say. And because he's so incompetent and such a noggin head, they reelected him. He's a fool. Anyway, these people are going to appeal to potential pilgrims' better nature, stressing the Jewish concept of tikkun olam, Hebrew for the healing world, or in this case, healing a broken city. Isn't that a good reason to move somewhere? Because the city is all screwed up and it's only schleppers are...
Sure.
That's a good reason to pack up your crap and move there. Not. They also plan to lure them with cash. Starting next month, any Jew who's relocated to New Orleans since January 1 will be eligible for up to $5,500 for moving and housing expenses, interest-free loans of up to $30,000,
About 30, man.
half-price tuition at Jewish day schools, and a year of free membership at a synagogue and Jewish community center, and 4 free Hamantash next Purim. The concept was hatched in part by Michael J. Weil, an economist who moved here from Israel in October to head the Jewish Federation, the umbrella group for the city's Jewish agencies and programs. Maybe they can get Wolf Blitzkrieg to move there and then have another flood. As a consultant of the Israeli government, Weil helped settle thousands of Jewish refugees in Israel after the collapse of the Soviet Union. The New Orleans benefits were based in part on the Sal Klita. Klita, that sounds like something sexual, yeah.
What word did you say?
Basket offered to Israeli newcomers. Sal Klita, I think he played for the A's, third base. The recruitment drive springs from an acknowledgement that city officials have done a poor job touting New Orleans' progress in 2 years since Katrina. The Jewish community will have to get that message out to the people on its own, Weil said. I would hope that nobody's going to move here just because of the incentive package, but it will be a lubricant, Weil said. Oh, geez, a lubricant. We can't sit around waiting for the Road Home program and these other things to take place because we want that to be in that great Better Place Tomorrow. Road Home is a state program that distributes federal funds for Katrina recovery efforts. The only recruitment ad that's run thus far, the one in New York's Jewish Week, was paid for by Yuri Topolsky, a rabbi recently chosen to lead Congregation Beth Israel. Yuri Topolsky. I wonder if he's kin to, what's that, a soccer player?
You're asking me a soccer player.
I can't think of his name. It touts the Jewish Federation of Greater New Orleans subsidies and the chance to join an inspirational rebuilding effort. Lucas Podolsky, that's the soccer guy.
Who?
Lucas Podolsky. He ain't no Cristiano, what's his name? Ronaldo. The Federation will begin running its own ads this year in the nation's Jewish newspaper. So far, Jewish leaders have attracted only a few newcomers, such as Hal Karp, a former magazine writer from Dallas who's moving here to teach in the public schools. Bada-beep, bada-boop, bada-wow. Let's go. You go, Hal. Better you than us. New Orleans. What a horrible place, even before the hurricane. A grotesque, a sewer, a toilet, a dump of a place. But, you know, it's the Big Easy, the Big Easy. Life by cliche. That's unfortunately what the world is all about. Life by stupid-ass cliches. It's the big easy as opposed to the small hard. I know something about that.
I'm sure you do.
I know. 11:13 at 560 WQAM. Let me tell you about a great offer for first-time home buyers. Even if you have no money down or no credit at all, you could buy at the courts of Oakland Park. Just call this number to find out how. 954-564-3739. It's true with zero down, zero closing. You can actually buy a condo and own rather than rent. Just sign and move. It's guaranteed. Call Fabian at 954-564-3739. He'll walk you through the easy process. But hurry, because they're nearly 85% sold out. If you've been employed in the past 2 years, you can qualify. What's the catch? There isn't any. If you have they have an FHA program that's funded by the federal government for first-time home buyers. All you have to do is call Fabian at 954-564-3739 to get started. The courts at Oakland Park, you'll find them at the corner of 41st Street and Andrews Avenue. Zero down, zero closing. Just sign and move. That's it. Go see Fabian at the courts at Oakland Park today or call 954-564-3739. Step up to ownership at the courts at Oakland Park. Here's that number one more time, 954-564-3739.
Just tell me what your problem is.
He's hanging on, man. He's got a slim one-vote lead over not so slim.
In the media, I see more trouble with Kathy Lee. Find it oh so hard to believe. She denies slavery in her factories. She and husband Gift raise their fist. Said clothing places like that don't exist, but we know better than that. Those sad sacks make her slack. Quit saying there's no sweatshops. Paint your tops.
Hey, stupid!
The dots. I know for work all day they ain't paid squat. Paid squat. Ain't paid squat.
11:18 at 560 WQAM. Happy Thursday to you. And boy, we got a major development on the world-famous poll on NeilRogers.com. The humper has moved into first place. They said it couldn't be done, but it's tight. It's tight as a witch's butt. The most obnoxious South Florida radio personality, Hank Goldberg, 163. Steve, Mr. Ego Kane, 162. And Sid Rosenberg has got 156. Only 7 votes separating them of 3. Out of 917 votes, by the way. George.
Yeah.
Well, I put the poll on at 2 o'clock yesterday. Why the hell shouldn't we have? We should already have like 1,200.
Okay.
If we were kicking it ancient style, like back when we used to work in radio, remember?
Hank's in first place.
I do remember.
What did I just get through saying?
He was not listening.
What did I just get through saying? And he said, oh, Hank's in first place. You are such a schmuck.
Yeah, I know.
Schmendrick, Schmirl, Schmagegi, Schlemazel.
English.
Schmendrick. Well, what is wrong with you? What did
English.
I just get through saying?
I missed it for a second.
I may start taking calls again.
Please don't.
Just so you have to screen them. No, I don't want to screen them. No, I actually turned the monitor on today for the first time in weeks. I don't know why. I don't see any coming in because they don't expect me. And you know something, like because jolly fat-ass Joe Bell thinks he's such an expert on this show and on radio, I think things have been going extraordinarily well since I stopped taking the calls, if you ask me. I could be wrong about that. I'm not having any difficulties at all in rambling on for 4 hours every day and reading some fine, interesting crap and just BSing all I want.
That's fine.
But every now and then you might want to take a call. QAM.
Hi, it's Howie.
Mm-hmm. Oh, I'm leaving you, Neil. I'm leaving after 15 years. Yeah, there you go. That's Fat Boy's boyfriend, by the way, if anybody out there doesn't know. WQAM, hello.
Hey, Neil.
Yes, sir.
I am honored that you took my call, and I just did something in your honor. I ate the fish food off the lid while driving in my car.
Great. Congratulations. Okay, I hope you get blood sugar up to 900 and drive off the road. WQAM, hello.
Hey, Neil. How you doing, buddy?
Okay, sir.
Yeah, I got a question for you. I've been listening to you for over 20 years.
Wow.
When I used to listen to you, I don't remember what station it was. When Steve Kane followed you in the afternoon, was that on 610?
Yeah, I would do, yeah.
But I got to tell you, I work nights once in a while, and I was driving the other night home from Fort Pierce, And all of a sudden, I hear this guy on the radio. I'm scanning through the AM. I couldn't get but like one or two stations, and I thought it was him. I don't know. Did he become like born again or something?
That is correct. Yes, he's born again Christian now, and he's adopted 400 children, and he's a crazy person. Yes.
But you guys, I got to tell you, back in the day when you guys did like the segue overlapped each other when he came in after you guys had some great arguments, man. You guys are funny, man.
Okay.
Funny.
Thanks, man. Okay.
Buddy.
See you, man. See you, buddy. Hank's got, well, let me refresh this, baby, because this now it's going to be interesting, okay? They said that they couldn't catch Mr. Ego, but the Hopper, I told you, big fat guys like me, we're a little slow getting going. Look at that. He's pulling away now, 166 to 162, and Sid's on both their tail with 158. This is great. This is great drama. That's what the old drama queen says. I know drama, believe me. I've had some recently. Wow. 931 votes. There's nothing worse than drama. That's what, you know who told me that? The Dalai Lama.
Really?
And your mama. WQAM, hello.
Did he?
So socks in hell. QAM. WQAM, hello.
Hey, Neil, how you doing?
Okay, sir.
Long time no talk to.
Yeah.
And I'm sure you like it that way.
Yes.
In regards to your poll, besides the top three all being Jewish, what else do they have in common? New York.
New York? That could be a New York thing. Yeah, I never thought about that. Very good point. Well, they all three used to be Jewish till Steve became born again because he found that it was, politically expedient and was going to make him lots and lots of money and really popular on a station that nobody can find with ratings that don't exist with a point like that. Look at the way these phones are exploding now, man. It's like, oh, Neil's taking calls today. Wow. Don't expect this to happen again anytime soon. But so what do you think of them so far?
Oh, they're great. Best ever.
Not as good as today's one you're on, though.
Never, no.
WQAM, hello.
What's in your wallet?
WQAM, hello.
Goldie rules.
Yeah, okay, Geldy's on now. That's the reason we're having a little bit of difficulty maintaining any kind of momentum here. WQAM, hello.
Neil, how you doing? Just want to say thanks. Thanks for the restaurant discounts on the website. They're fantastic. Really great idea that you're doing this, and I appreciate it. It shows that you do care about your listeners and that you're willing to help them. Yeah, you do. You're a good guy.
This is my idea. Like I invented it. It's a sales thing. You know that. Come on.
Come on, but you would do it anyway, wouldn't you?
No.
Really?
See ya. Yeah. Come on. I care about my listeners. You should live so long, pal. Well, I care about the loyal listeners who have helped keep me going here 31 and a half years. Of course I care about them. I love each and every one. So what was that really bad news about the Dolphin tickets that Ray Perry gave you there? Because I noticed somebody hasn't read that yet. I don't want him to get all of it. I mean, it's not really bad news. It's just, sometimes you have to wait a little extra for good things, And
right.
that'll give you a great opportunity, a good excuse to meet and greet, and one of my favorite people on there, which you haven't met him yet.
Hopefully he'll meet and greet me somewhere halfway between us so I don't have to schlep all the way down to Yenamsveld.
Like I said, I think it's really bad news for him that he's going to have to contend with you, it looks like, because if those tickets come August 1st, I'm not coming back down there, I'll tell you that.
Well, see, the good news is that the station...
No, the real good news is he hasn't read it yet.
Right.
Maybe, hopefully he's doing some work today and not listening. That'll be good, because he'll be depressed. And then I'll probably get uninvited to lunch, because if I come empty-handed, forget about it, Neil. Who wants to see your fat ass, No, it'll give me an excuse to bring something else. Don't you think?
Absolutely.
What was it?
Absolutely.
WQAM, hello.
Bim Co-Camper's a fairy.
WQAM, hello. WQAM, hola. Buenos dias.
Neil?
Yes?
Yesterday's 1 to 2 hour got pretty embarrassing.
Why is that?
He had on Geldy on helium.
He? George?
Had Geldy on. It sounded like Geldy on helium, and his voice got so high.
What was the reason for that?
For what?
For your voice getting so high.
My voice didn't get high.
Oh. It says, tell George I'll meet him wherever, whenever. And that's not because he's so anxious to meet you. That's because he wants to get his hands on those tickets and the parking passes, stuff like that. My good friend, the professor, you see how few seconds it took for that message to come through there on my Crackberry? As soon as it buzzed, I knew exactly what it was from. And that's, But He'll meet you wherever and whenever. Maybe he'll even come right to your home, and he can meet your lovely wife and your family. Your older daughter.
We can meet somewhere for, like, lunch or something.
That would be a great idea. I think that's a capital idea. And, of course, you would buy it.
Or I would use some of these certificates that we have. More likely.
Yeah, that sounds a lot more likely to me.
Since I don't have any money.
I see. Well, there's a real sweet message there. I don't want to get distracted from the show by reading all these sweet messages because I'm a wonderful guy. And plus probably because I'll bring something beside tickets to lunch.
Or David's a bitch.
I can't get over what that Huey said today. He's got a lot of noise to talk about me that way. I don't give a crap what that Perry has to say. If he wants to smoke pink cigars, then let him. Why, I'll have you know, I know what I'm talking about. Every morning at the condo, I take the elevator down, and on my way to the car, when I pull my folding basket out, I grab a free condo paper. The boys are back in town. The boys are back in town. The boys are back in town. The boys are back in I said the boys are back in town. Why, you little... I'm the god of all you sport hole fools. I know everything that's going on in that news. Why, I even know all the new Mahjong rules. I'm hip to the jive, Daddy-O.
Too bad they're going down today. It's a better show when I take your place. I know I ain't no Ed Hoyley, but when they drop, my voice will change.
You little smoothie.
Boy, a lot of pressure today. 950 votes. We got the 1,000 licked, so there's no pressure on that. But the pressure is on at the top of the poll result, and also the pressure is that in 27 minutes we start with that Rivals Waterfront Sports Girl with the certificates.
Right on.
So there's a lot of pressure on you folks to hop right on it, man. Be right there with your PC or somebody else's PC or a BVD and hop on it. 950 votes. The most obnoxious South Florida radio personality is Hank Goldberg, 169, Steve Kane, 167, and Sid Rosenschwartzberg, Krantz, 162. Dan LeBastard, 109. He's like lurking in the background, but he's not going to contend. Kind of like in the ratings, same thing. Lurking in the back, but just a no contender. Danny LeBastard boy. George Rodriguez, 85. I only have 62. You got me by 23 votes. I think you got me licked.
All right.
You.
Geldy, 58. Stu Gotts, 29. Kenny Walker, 24. Hey, everybody. Kimbo Camper, 23. Jim Mandis, 22. Joe Rose, 21. And then it's way on down to the Big O with 9. Castronova's got 8. And, of course, when you're on for 100 hours a day, how obnoxious can it be? Who would put up with it anyway? Yeah, I don't know how the hell we can continue between Castronova being on until, till midnight, and Geldy on over there. It's a miracle we still got an audience. Jeff DeFlores has got 2, and Jim DeFetus, he ain't got none. Wouldn't you think that if he, when you weigh 600 pounds, wouldn't you think somebody just out of sympathy would vote for you? 955 on our poll. You did what?
I imagine. Somebody would want to vote for you.
I see. Maureen Dowd's got a good comment here. I might actually read it. Boy, I got a really pain in the neck, Oh, man. Although I slept 2 good nights in a row now. 2 straight nights. Isn't that amazing?
Sure.
Hey, W. Bin Laden is still determined to strike in U.S., writes Maureen Dowd, Marina Queen. She says, as it turns out, they're not on the run. And, yeah, they can fight us here even if we fight them there. And, one more thing. After spending hundreds of billions of dollars and losing all these lives in Iraq and Afghanistan, we're more vulnerable to terrorists than ever. And, did you know that dead or alive stuff, we may be the ones who end up dead. Squirming White House officials had to confront the fact yesterday that everything President Bush has been spouting the last 6 years about al-Qaeda being on the run, disrupted and weakened, was just guff. Last year, W called his personal friend, General Pervert Musharraf, a strong defender of freedom. Unfortunately, it turned out to be al-Qaeda's freedom. The White House is pinning the blame on Pervert, Pervez Musharraf. While the administration lavishes billions on Pakistan, including $750 million in risible attempt to win the hearts and minds in tribal areas where al-Qaeda leaders are hiding and training, President Musharraf has helped create a quiet mountain retreat, a veritable terrorism spa for Osama and Ayman the Pieman al-Zawahiri to refresh themselves and get back in shape. The administration's most thorough intelligence assessment since 9/11 is stark and dark. 2 pages add up to one message. The Bushies blew it. Al-Qaeda has exploded into a worldwide state of mind because of what's going on with Iraq and Iran. Hezbollah may now be more likely to consider attacking us. Al-Qaeda will try to put operatives here. Some news reports say a cell from Pakistan is already en route or has arrived and acquired and employ chemical, biological, radiological, or nuclear material in attacks. Democrats on cots are ineffectual, but Al-Qaeda in caves get the job done. After 9/11, W stopped mentioning Osama's name, calling him just a person now who's been marginalized, and adding, I just don't spend that much time on him. This week, as counterterrorism officials gathered at the White House to frantically brainstorm on covert and overt plans to capture Osama, the president may have regretted his perverse attempt to demote America's most determined enemy. W began to mention Osama and al-Qaeda more recently, but only to assert the same folks that are bombing innocent people in Iraq were the ones who were attacking us in America in 9/11. His conflation is contradicted by the fact that al-Qaeda in Mesopotamia, as the Sunni terrorist group in Iraq is known, didn't exist before 9/11. Fran Townsend, the President's Homeland Security Advisor, did her best to put a gloss on the dross, but failed. She had to admit that the hands-off approach used by Mr. Musharraf for the tribal leaders in North Waziristan, which always looked like a nutty way to give al-Qaeda room to regroup, was a nutty way to give al-Qaeda room to regroup. It hasn't worked for Pakistan, she conceded. It hasn't worked for the U.S., eh? Just as we outsourced capturing Osama at our border Afghans who had no motive to do it, we're outsourcing capturing Osama in Pakistan to Mr. Musharraf, who had no motive to do it. Pressed by reporters on why we haven't captured Osama, especially if he's climbing around with a dialysis machine, Ms. Townsend sniffed that she wished it were that easy. It's not easy to launch a trumped-up war to reshape the Middle East into a utopian string of democracies, but that didn't stop W from making that audacious gambit. The Bushies, who once mocked Bill Clinton for doing only pinprick bombings on al-Qaeda, say now they can do nothing about Osama because they can't pinpoint him, as Ms. Townsend put it. She assured reporters that they were harassing al-Qaeda, making it sound more like tugging on pigtail strategy than a take-no-prisoner strategy. We've had it up the wazir with Waziristan. Surely there are... oh, she's good. Surely there are Army Rangers and Navy SEALs who can make the trek, even if it's in no man's land. If it were a movie, we'd trace the saline in Osama's dialysis machine, target it with laser, and blow up the mountain. We trace the saline in the dialysis machine. W swaggers about with his cowboy boots and gunslinger stance, but when talking about Waziristan last February, he explained that it was hard to round up the Taliban and al-Qaeda leaders there because this is wild country, this is wilder than the Wild West. Yes, they shoot with real bullets up there, and they fly into buildings with real planes. If W were a real cowboy instead of somebody who just plays one on TV, he would have cleaned up Dodge by now. But he's not a real cowboy, he just wears a big hat, you know. He just slings. He's not a gunslinger, he's a Schmidt slinger, as they say, as Helmut Schmidt would say in Germany.
Aye.
Remember Helmut Schmidt, big and fat.
Sure.
Speaking of big and fat, how's the Humper doing? He's got 172. This is still up for grabs, baby. There's another stupid question, saying, cliche. It's up for grabs. You know what my response to that is?
Grab it?
Grab this, yeah. 965 votes, the most obnoxious, and I'm reading the poll a lot more because we got a great race going on now, and because we're only 22 minutes away from the rivals of Waterfront Sports Girl certificates. Well, if we can do that again like we did last week. Although I hope that this week, I don't know. Last week there was a little more drama to it. I've had enough drama this past month. I don't need any more drama, however you want to say it.
Queen.
Nope. Drama queen. Well, that's me. And I admit it. See, at least I admit it. That's me.
So apparently Rivals is in the house, and we'll be getting some food soon.
Oh, see, that's all he cares about, is getting the free food. He doesn't care about the fact that we got this great horse race going on in the poll, which supposedly he's the pollmeister. You don't really care about that, do you? Of course not. We knew it. All you care about is getting the free food because you're getting paid about 75 cents an hour. Because they treat you like crap.
Well, yeah.
Let me ask you, now that I mention that, how do they treat you?
Well, who is the who? If it's George, he treats me very well.
Wait. What did Eric just put on here?
Yeah, I just saw that too, required votes per minute.
Required votes per minute to get to 1,000, 2/10 of a vote per minute. Well, what does that mean?
I guess that's, we need 2/10 of a vote before 2 o'clock.
Well, you talk about a guy who's got too much time on his hands. Wow. Eric, this man is a numbers maniac, or just a maniac. Underneath the poll result on my page here, it's got required votes per minute. To get to 1,400 votes, we'd need 3.1 per minute. That is based on what's left in the show, or at least when he wrote this. Now, is that going to change also as we... let me just click that View Current and see if that changes along with the poll result.
I don't know, but it got smaller.
It got smaller? He condensed it? 970 votes. Jim DeFetus still can't buy a vote. Well, you know, why would you want to say he's obnoxious when he's that fat? You know, I'm sure he's got the sympathy vote, wouldn't you think? Don't we feel really bad for him?
Stick it, baby!
Goodbye, Homer Bedlow. Sorry to see you going. Even though you were Charles Lane and played 100 roles, we'll always know you for Homer Bedlow.
You're fired.
Even when young, you looked real old. Just like Burt Mustin. Nobody played a better cranky man with a visor on. And I'm the only one, I guess, who knows who you are.
Get that final panic. I'm throwing you out.
Hey, good for you, a chain smoker who lived to 102, and a good Jew who was typecast as a Republican.
Now see here.
Now who's gonna make sure the Reddit ain't on fire? Before you checked out, I'll bet you balanced your books.
See to it. Those reports are on my desk in the morning. If not, get out. You're fired.
It's 11:45 at 560 WQM. By the way, I'm getting inundated here with all kinds of huzzah. The professor is very anxious to find out if you're going to send him those rivals things, you know, which I really wouldn't do this on the air. But I mean, I don't want to put pressure on you. Otherwise, he might actually have to spend
As I explained, and we'll ask Barney Miller when he comes in here, or Duff when he comes back next week.
No, you won't ask. You'll get it done for me, I'm sure.
I don't have the power to make certificates myself.
Like I said, I'm sure you'll take care of it for me.
But I got what I got, not
you got what you got. Well, you got a wife. That's what Chris was telling me before.
Yeah.
He said your wife is a very lovely lady. You know what you said, Chris? She's a pip. He said she was very nice to him, and she's always been nice to me, to my face.
Absolutely. Oh, she likes you very much.
Does she really?
Sure. What's not to like?
Oh, boy. Do we have that much time left in the show? What's not to like? So you're not going to take care of that thing. Maybe you better buy
I told you
something.
I will talk to someone who has
I don't want to start promising all kinds of stuff to my very close and important personal friends.
Then don't promise anything.
And it wouldn't be even surprise me if you don't wind up for
I
that
can't
lunch because
pull
you're afraid you might have to
certificates out of
buy
my ass. If I could, then I would be much better
if they
fed.
were out there, he probably wouldn't take them. Knowing him the way as I do. 984 votes on the poll. Look at that. Devo's got a pair. And Jim DeFeety finally got a pair. All right, let's hear it for the fat man. We got a big fat man on top and a big fat man on the bottom. That sounds kind of gay to me. The whole world will be shaking and quaking and baking. The Humper's got 179. This is for the most obnoxious South Florida radio personality. Not syndicated people, not people that, broadcast from some other place except for me. And thank God I do. Oh, brother. Just the notion, just the idea that I would be working in that studio, in that place, in that county, in that state, it's laughable. Ain't going to happen. The Humper, 179. Mr. Ego, Steve Kane, 170, which is, I think, 3 times his audience. Sid Rosenberg, 164. The 3 of them are within 15 vote. Dan LeBastard, 109, as in PT 109. Remember that?
Yep.
George Rodriguez, 88. Neil Rogers, 64. You got me by 24 vote. I think you got me licked. Galdi, 59. Stu Gotts, 29. Kenny Walker, 24, everybody. Kim Bocamper, 24. And look at that. They are on the show together in the morning, at least temporarily, and they both got 24. Now, do you think that's a coincidence?
No.
Coinkadinkadoo? Mad Dog, 23. Joe Rose, 21. He's coming back as the rumor to QAM. That's the rumor. And who's that other guy, Chris, that says we already hired?
Jason Jackson.
Jason Jackson, who is rumored they're going to be doing mornings with Joe Rose when they blow out this thing we got now. Joe Rose, 21. Paul Castronova, 15. He's on 15 hours a day. He's got 15 votes. Orlando Alzaquiri, the Big O, is moving up, 11 votes. And Jim DeFetus and Defo are down there way behind, 984. Now, you'd think that means that people like Defo, for example, and yet every time we take a poll on who do you like, they hate him like poison. And look at that. To get to 1,000 votes, we need only 1/10 of a vote per minute. Since we got a long way to go. Oh, my God. Are you kidding me?
Well, Defo was added kind of late, so, you know.
That's true. We got a late start, and probably many of the people who voted for other choices. Maybe if we told them that Defo is like part Jewish, that would get, because it seems the Jews on this poll are doing very well, except for Stu Gotts. Isn't he Jewish, Stu Gotts?
Yeah, sure.
What is his name? Oh, John Wiener. Oh, no.
Correct.
Well, I wouldn't use that name either, you know. If my name was Wiener, if we want to get to 1,100 votes, 0.8 of a vote per minute. So I guess it's safe to assume we're going to get to 1,100 based on that. What?
Thank you, Eric.
No, we don't care about that.
Yeah, we do.
We don't care about that. All we care about is that this thing is coming up in 11 minutes. And at what time is it going to open? Let me go to WQM.com right now. Do we know for sure? See, this is the problem.
Minutes.
What?
10 minutes according to the website.
According to the website?
Yeah.
And you really believe that? Last week it said similar. Go to WQM.com, and in the upper left it's got my picture, and there's a square underneath that where you click where it's got Neil's half-price deals. And also, if I were my close personal friend listening out there, I would go ahead and buy one or two or something. And George will reimburse you.
What?
Well, because you don't want to take care of him. You know, when I have close personal friends that we try to take care of,
it's not a matter of one.
And you don't want to do it.
Over
look,
here.
you can admit it. You can admit it. You'd rather take them home for yourself. That's okay.
Okay, yeah.
In fact, now, do you have those two?
Do I have what to what?
I thought you said you had a pair for yourself.
I have my cut, if that's what you mean, yeah.
Your cut?
Yeah.
How do you spell that?
My compensation, yes.
Yeah, and how many are there?
4 $25 ones.
So that's $100.
That's right.
Well, I'd rather send you the $100 and you send those to your friend.
Deal.
Ask me if there was any doubt if that was going to be a deal.
No.
I'll send you $100 and you put those in an envelope and send them to
I'll do
your
it today.
close personal buddy.
That's
well,
right.
You guys are getting pretty close. Okay, this says on sale Thursday at noon. See, I take care of my friends. Unlike some people who make excuses, you know. Oh, I don't know if I can do that. I don't take no for an answer, George. If somebody wants something that is something
if I had the ability to whip out
$100,
then I would, but I don't.
I'll whip it out.
I bet.
Now, let's take a look at this. Rivals Waterfront and Sports Grill in Hollywood at 3460 South Ocean Drive. And everybody says it's a phenomenal place. So you're going to send those out today. Don't forget.
Jess, I won't.
And I'll send you $100.
Jess.
Not cash. I'll send you a check.
Whatever.
If I put cash in an envelope to that building, you think you'd actually ever get it?
I'll take a check. Don't worry about it.
I'm sure you will. So anyway, we've got 50 of these, and they're like $100 certificates, and you get them for $50. And you can use your credit card. What happened? Oh, there it is. MasterCard, Visa. Or what is that? GeoTrust. Or In God We Trust. What does that say at the bottom?
I don't know. What's that got to do with this
Secured by
meeting right now?
Visa or MasterCard, I guess. I don't know. So that thing's going to open. What do you? Oh, you got the food now from Rivals. That's good.
Of some sort.
And you can drool all over the place and get everybody pissed off at you because you got it made on. I had my bacon already this morning, but you're starting to make me. I'm aching for more bacon.
I'll bet.
I'm aching for something. So where does this thing show up there? Oh, quantity remaining 50. Okay, so we haven't opened this up yet. Now, how do we find out? How do we know? Is it when the little hand hits the big hand, it gets to be right exactly noon? I mean, I'm asking these things, and it's my show, and it's something we're doing on this show, and it's because Neil is so grateful to his audience and all this other crap, which is, somebody made that up.
I know. I'll go ask Duff.
Yeah, go ask Duff. He's on vacation. See, I don't think I really have to spend that $100 because I'm sure he could get you something, but I'll do it anyway.
Probably.
Just go ahead and send them out.
I will.
I don't want rather than you going and eating. You need the money much worse than you need a free meal. I mean, you get free meals there every day. In fact, right now you got your Rivals right now. What do they bring you? As a matter of fact,
some wings, quesadillas over here.
Quesadillas,
Kobe beef sliders. I can't wait to slide right into that. Is that what this is? Yes. Sweet spinach dip on a fajita.
Now, what exactly is that Kobe beef slider? What is that?
It's like the Neely burgers, except it's a little bigger, and it's a real steak burger, like a gourmet steak burger, as opposed to a regular ground round or whatever. I got mojitos coming. Oh, about them beer teenies I kept hearing about.
Right. Well, let's get 20 or 30 of those in, George, before the end of the show. He'll be standing out on the street corner naked, like in Brattleboro, Vermont. Okay, so I guess that thing we're going to actually open it up at noon today, huh?
I guess so.
Sounds like it.
Or maybe just a little before noon. I guess that's what happened last week, because we went into that last break, and then all of a sudden I noticed that the thing was open, and within 1 minute it said that they were all sold out. Then we found out that we had a few of our deadbeats out there, because on this show we have many deadbeat listeners out there. That's the chance you take. And some of those, the credit card got turned down, or it turned out that they were they're illegitimate children, whatever the hell the deal was. So I'll come back to that. In fact, now I can't get off of it. Now it's my home page. Oh, there, I finally got off. How's that thing on the bottom here with Eric? Required votes per minute. We need 1/10 of a vote per minute to get to 1,000. Now that's ridiculous because we have 996 already.
I don't think I've ever had 1,000
this hour, huh?
I don't think I've ever had Kobe beef before.
Good stuff, huh?
It's great. I want like 3 of these things. I got a beertini.
Do you really? All right.
Yes, I do.
See, I'm just sending $100 out to you so that my close personal friend can get those $100 worth of stuff. And he's still. This reminds me of somebody I know here very close and personal.
This is great.
I want it. I want it. You'll get it, okay, Mr. Hotshot? You'll get it. Just relax. Yeah, that sounds really good.
They're going to get me drunk. They're getting me liquored up.
Good.
Just telling you
now, get him all drunk and liquored up so we can get him fired today. Then he won't be underpaid. We need 0.9 votes per minute to get to 1,100. We got 996. Let's see how this thing is coming along. And then once we go into that break, look out, then I think they're going to open the thing up. The most obnoxious South Florida radio personality is Hank Goldberg, 181. Hank has opened up a lead now, baby. It's like affirmed in Aladar in a stretch. Hank, 181, and Steve Kane, 171. And Sid Rosenkrantz, Schwartz-Steenberg has got 165. And like the guy said, it was, how do you like the fact I took those calls? Wasn't that exciting? It's not going to happen again. I already shut the thing off. Not today. Good. But it was pretty good, actually. Catch him off guard when they least expectorate it. Dan LeBastard, 109. He's a weak 4th. George Rodriguez, 88. Neil Rogers, 66. You got me by 22 votes. Geldy, 60. Stu Gotts, 29. Kenny Walker, he's got 24, along with Kim Bocamper, also 24. Great minds working. And Mad Dog's got 24. Joe Rose, 23. Castronova's got 16. Poor bastard working 20, 30 hours a day. Orlando Alzaquiri's got 11. Jim DeFeedy, 3, and Jeff DeForest, 2. Now, you'd assume that whoever's in last place on this is somebody they like. And, of course, in the case of Defoe, we know they hate him like poison. Okay, 11:56.
This is Brady Quinn. Whenever I shave my balls, I listen to the Neil Rogers 12 to 1 hour.
A message from New York Mayor Michael Bloomberg.
Hello. As you know, it is very hot in New York. Very hot. Anybody got a cloth? My forehead schwitzing over here. Thank you. And where's my lemonade? Anybody got? Thank you. Yeah. I'm asking all of you to try conserving a little energy, will you? For starters, turn off all your air conditioners, okay? That would be nice. You want to stay cool. Submerge into an abandoned section of the subway and snuggle close to a dead homeless person. You know, if you place their blue hands on your ass, it will keep you nice and cool. And, you can light an occasional match to watch the roaches carry empty pizza boxes away. But if you use the match to light a cigarette, you will be shot.
Winston tastes good like a cigarette should. 12:02 at 560 WQ. Now, this isn't like last week when those things went out like lightning, like greased lightning, to use that horrible cliche again. We still got 20 left. And what do you think the reason is for that?
Because the server did not crash today.
We got 18 left. What does that mean?
Remember, last week we had a weird count because the server got overloaded and crashed.
Yeah.
It actually took about 30 minutes to sell out.
What are you talking about?
All right, go to past deals.
Oh, so we didn't crash this time is what you're saying?
Yeah, we haven't crashed.
Oh, good. Thank God for that.
It's a good thing. I guess whoever's doing it made sure the server was a little bit better today.
So we got 15 left, okay? These are $50 or $100 certificates, and you pay $50. See, George confused me with that $25 stuff. But you got 4 of them, right?
Yes, I do.
Oh, and what are you eating now?
Chicken wings. I'm getting some ribs here in a minute.
Yeah, the Kobe beef sliders sound absolutely awesome.
They're phenomenal. They're like rare, just like medium rare in the middle.
14 of those babies left, okay? So, well, as opposed to last week when we were like in some kind of a rush, a bum's rush, take our time. We'll keep checking that thing out. And the interesting part of it is this thing opened right around the time we had 1,001 votes on the poll, like a simultaneous spasm. If I can, oh, sorry, Joyce. Can't say that. 12 are left out of the 50. Now, who's in charge of this? What sales hole?
Barney Miller.
Well, Barney Miller?
None other.
We have a guy named Barney Miller?
I choice you not.
There's a guy named Mike Ockerts. We got 11 left.
We know different mics, apparently.
I guess so. Yeah, well, I got my mic right here.
Yeah?
And I got another one over here, too, as a matter of fact. The guest mic over there. Yeah, how do you like that? If you could see this setup, I better take a picture of this one of these days and show you the setup. The guest mic is also, on a boom like this one is.
You're supposed to take a picture. You're supposed to take lots of pictures.
there's no place. I guess somebody could stand over there on the other side if I was to have a guest.
I guess.
And if I didn't like what they were saying, I'd just shove them and they'd go through the window right on the balcony.
I guess they could.
Over the thing. Maybe we're sold out now. I don't know. We got 11 left as I look on there on NeilRogers.com or on WQM.com. Still got 11 left. Well, it's kind of slow this week. Like I said, we got 9 left.
It's 3 minutes and we're down to 9.
Like I said, kind of slow this week.
How fast do you
we
want
got
people
spoiled
to
last week. Last week they were all ready and loaded for bear. Now it's like they're kind of like, I don't know.
Well, again, last week the server crashed, so you weren't actually getting the real count.
Oh, is that what it was?
Yeah, the server crashed, so as far as the server knew, we were out.
If you say the server crashed one more time, your fat ass is going to crash in a minute. Jesus, will you stop saying that?
It went kaput.
Yeah, okay.
Is that better?
The server?
Yeah.
We got 7 left, okay? Now, so in other words, it's better if we do it more orderly like this, so it means we're actually getting a legitimate count.
Yeah, because, you know, this way,
left. So they'll be sold out in a minute or two, and that's fine, you know.
This will be the quickest sellout we've had so far.
Well, how do you know that? You're always counting your chickens before they lay a fat one, man. I don't understand you.
Okay,
I believe your Kobe beef grinders. Sliders. Well, we still got 5. Well, I don't have time to potch you with that. You keep an eye on it. Are you on it?
Okay, we'll do.
Keep an eye on it, because I've got to go back to the poll.
And the page.
We're
down to 3.
We're down to 3, good. We have 1,019 votes on the poll, and that number isn't really important. What is important is the result. The most obnoxious South Florida radio personality is the Humper so far. 185 for the Humper. He's got a 9-vote lead over Mr. Ego Steve Kane, 176, and Sid Rosenkrantz Schwartz from New York, 170. Go back to New York, Sid. They hate you like poison. Even Greg Budell, they didn't hate this much. Probably because he wasn't from New York. He was just from hunger. Dan LeBastard, 109. George Rodriguez, 80. Well, I'm not going to read them all. I just got through doing that. But those top 3, keep your eye peeled on that. That's a good race, isn't it? I know, you don't care. You're still busy eating the food.
What?
You don't care.
You're talking to me? God.
1,019 votes on our world-famous poll, and how many we got left on the thing, Chris?
We're back up to 5.
Oh, we're going back up again now?
Yeah, we were down to 3, and then it just went to 5, so, you know. I'm telling you, it'll be gone in a couple minutes.
I don't like the way this is working out this week.
Why?
I don't know, because last week, when the server crashed and got all screwed up, it spoils you. You know, you feel like, holy cow, look at this. And now we're stuck at 5.
It's going nice and methodical this week.
I don't want nice and methodical. I want fast like greased lightning, baby. I want a zillion people out there to be buying these things up. Because this is a great place.
It's very good.
It is. And we still got 5 of these damn things left, which really frost my fat ass. Boy, oh boy, that was because Geldy was on. If Geldy wasn't on, maybe... See, he wasn't on last week, right? And we sold these things out faster than you can say Rumpelstiltskin's a jackass, but now we still got the 5. I think this thing is screwed up this week. I could be wrong. And George is going to be plastered by about 1:15.
I think that's his 4th drink so far.
What? Hank's opened up a 10-vote lead, by the way, Mr. Ego. Hank's got 187, and Mr. Ego's got 177. And Sid the Yid's got 170.
Let's just go get drunk.
We got 4.
Sounds like a deal to me. We got what?
4 left.
4 left. So this is the way you like it, nice and methodical like this?
I guess get the real count.
Okay. The real count, as in Dracula? Weeks after claiming that it was... Can I read this story now? I don't want to spend the whole time on reading the poll number and reading the number and how many things... I'd like to do a radio show, okay? And maybe I'll start doing that next week.
Okay.
Weeks after claiming that it was not part of the executive branch, the office of Vice President Dick Cheney appears to be writing an independent assertion of executive privilege. How do you like that? They're not part of the executive, but they got executive privilege. All right. The move emerged in an exchange of letters with the Senate Judiciary Committee, which granted an extension for the White House to comply with a subpoena on documents related to George W. Bush's domestic spying program.
All of these things.
Counsel to the Vice President, Shannon Coffin, appeared to imply that Cheney's office may assert executive privilege after it finishes reviewing documents that are responsive to the committee's subpoena. The documents are due today. Today. In fact, this was yesterday, because this is the 18th. While the Office of the Vice President reserves legal protections that apply in this matter, we look forward to working to meet the committee's needs for information and on legislative matters to protect the nation, Coffin wrote. Coffin's letters to the committee came with a similar letter from White House counsel Fred Fielding. In contrast, Fielding's letter made no reference of any kind to legal protections or executive privilege. Cheney's attorneys also seem to suggest the President and Vice President's offices were on the same plane. I sure hope it's not the one that Catherine Harris was on. We'll continue our efforts to identify documents responsive to the subpoena and request an extension of time for response to the subpoena parallel to that afforded the Office of the President, she wrote. Fielding, who is Bush's attorney, contacted Senate Judiciary Chairman Patrick Leahy to inform him that an extension on compliance was needed because of the wide variety of documents that needed to be reviewed and shredded and covered up and all these, all that stuff. Just amazing to me. Oh, look at that. There's that big hole in the ground in New York. They had just inspected the pipes, and all of a sudden, bada boom, when you least expect it. I bet you it's al-Qaeda, don't you think?
Yeah.
It's either al-Qaeda or Al Goldstein. Well, I know you're not paying any attention. You're busy hopping up all that free food. See, it's good that you're going to be sending out those things because you don't need them anyway. You'd rather take the $100 and you're getting.
I'm going there anyway. These people are so very nice. They're going to take care of me anyway. How do you like that?
Is that what they said?
They're here. I'm putting them on the spot right now.
Oh.
They said yes. They said
absolutely.
Did they really? Well, wait till they get out the door. And say,
they really did.
That little speck. Yeah, we're not taking care of his.
Yeah, they will.
Yeah, take good care of George. He's a schlubber.
I'm going to whore the show for them all day
They treat
tomorrow.
him like garbage. They treat him like crap. So how are we doing on there, Chris? We still got 4? 5.
Hold on, let me get.
My thing says 5. Now it says 7.
It's all your fault.
What?
It's all your fault.
What the hell does that mean? You said it was going in a nice, orderly way, and we went from 4 to 5 to 7. That's because we got some deadbeats, some screwballs out there.
You said it.
Who are messing up the works. Well, I'll let you know. I thought you were going to keep your eye on it.
I am. I'm also eating a chicken wing at the same time.
Oh, I see. You got your priorities in order.
Yeah.
I got some ribs now.
Do you?
Yeah.
How much are you going to eat, for Christ's sakes?
How much are they going to bring?
Whatever they'll bring, you'll eat it. I know.
Bring it.
Bring it. Bring it on, baby. Because poor George is a schlipper. And Chris, for crying out loud, if he told you what they were paying him, you people would be like driving off the road, even if you're sitting at home in your living room. You go to the window and jump. And a fat guy like Chris, he needs to sustain that maximum weight. He needs some serious cash, baby. Give me some money, honey, so I can go out and eat But that's why you're working on this show. Free food. Which more than compensates for the crappy money that they're paying you. To get to 1,500 votes, we need only 4.4 per minute. Well, is this madness? Did Eric give you any explanation why he did this, or is he just bored?
He didn't say
that. Must be it.
It's got to be that. How many votes required per minute to get to a thing? And it still says we got 7 of these babies left. Oh, now it's 5 again. I think somebody's playing with my mind.
Oh, God.
They are Muslim doctors, and they practice a radical form of medicine on an explosive new drama, Gray's Jihadami.
Now, turn your head toward Mecca and cough.
Dr. Omar, I've been trying to reach you all morning. Do you not have your cell phone?
No, he's downtown, attached to a detonator.
They're treating the infirmed and taking care of the infidels on Gray's Jihadami.
I have a crusader in the ER complaining of a migraine.
Give him 600 milligrams of ibuprofen and a quick beheading, and he'll be fine.
Hey, we still playing golf this weekend?
I can't. I'll be too busy working on my car. Bomb.
Come on.
It's all on a very special Gray's Jihadami.
Dr. Omar, have you checked out the new nurse? She really fills out her burqa.
I ain't going near that. Who needs a 7th wife, eh?
12:17 at 560 WQAM. We still have 1 certificate left. I don't know if Chris has thrown me off here or what. You threw me off my game.
How did I do that?
I don't know. Because you said we're doing it nice and orderly now, and we're still stuck on that one. And that one's not going. Nobody's taken the last one.
It'll be gone.
It'll be gone when?
When George orders it.
Next Shavuos? 6 weeks from
They're probably
Purim?
going through the procedure right now.
What?
You know, you got to
enter all your information and stuff.
What are you talking about?
When you order these, you have to then enter in your mailing address and
I understand that, but you don't get it. When I start checking this out, when they open the thing up, what you're doing, they right at noon now. They have the countdown with a clock, and right at noon, they open this thing up, and they go in chunks, and all of a sudden it's 46, and then it's 41, and then it's 29. Don't you understand?
It's everybody filling out their stuff right at the same time.
That is correct, all at the same time, but there's this one left. I'd like to just get rid of that last one, okay?
We'll go ahead and buy it.
It's a $100 certificate for $50, and there's one left on there. And I'd like to see the thing where it says "sold out, all gone, bye-bye," like that, you know. But it's not happening. I think this thing could be screwed up. Is that possible?
It is.
Not a QAM. I refreshed this 100 times.
I mean, they might be hung up on their end, you know.
They're what? They're hung up on your end?
It's possible.
Anyway, keep your eye on it, Chris, because I'm tired of looking at that thing. It's depressing and disappointing. And I think it has to do with the fact that we can't compete with Geldy. That's what it is. Geldy wasn't on last week, right?
And they're all gone.
Oh, they are all gone. Like I said, who the hell needs Geldy?
Answer your phone, will you?
It's a thing from City Cards, and it's just spam is what it is, okay? It's just a thing from... See, I used to have that on quiet, okay, where it would just vibrate. Right. And then I discover it's no fun that way.
I know.
When you can make all of this noise and... like
get
that.
Messages from your bookie.
Yeah, like the Humper. The Humper, by the way, has opened up a 11-vote lead. The most obnoxious South Florida radio personality, Hank Goldberg, 192, Steve Kane, 181. I'll tell you, for Mr. Ego, that's quite an accomplishment because he's on a station that is like invisible and nobody ever heard of. And yet, 181 on the votes. Sid Rosenberg, 171, and Dan LaBastard, 111. Those are the only four in triple digits out of 1,040 votes. And on the bottom it says, to get to 1,500, we need just 4.5 votes per minute, Eric. Oh, crazy. Okay, so they're all gone, is that what you just told me?
Correct.
Positive now. I don't want you to come back in a couple of minutes and say, oh, now there's 3 more, you know.
Well, I can only tell you what the page says, so.
Yeah. I want to see it for myself. I don't trust you.
Okay.
I want to see it for myself. Let me refresh it, and it says, sold out. Told you. That's what my page says. It says, sold out. Sold American. Lucky Strike means fine tobacco, and they used to have the auctioneer on it. Blah, 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 blah. Remember, I had that somewhere. Where the hell did I have that? From Chicken Neck. Beg your pardon?
He said, I don't know. He's throwing out his leftovers. Or not his leftovers, but, you know.
His garbage.
Clear a little bit of the
all
used
the chicken
platters over there.
Yeah.
Good God Almighty, and I'm ready for a nap now.
What a pig. What a cow.
You know
and then, of course, those 10 beer teenies.
Hey, I only had one of each of the 3 drinks that they brought in.
Oh, one of each of the 3 drinks. Wow, that's not too bad.
Working on my mint mojito
right now. They don't
now.
have 15 varieties. Good.
They think they do.
What a lush. No matter how Michael Vick, and you're not even a beaner. How do you like that?
Still, I like it mojito.
No matter how Michael Vick's indictment on charges of operating a dogfighting ring is resolved in court, allegations against the NFL star have forced mainstream America to confront the grisly image of canine death matches. Law enforcement and animal protection advocates who have participated in raids on the type of enterprises that the Atlanta Falcons quarterback and 3 other men are accused of running say the reality of the dogfighting underworld is even worse than most people can imagine. They say seized dogs inevitably are euthanized, the plywood walls of the typical fighting ring are splattered with blood, and cruelty shrouds every aspect of the dog's life. I think they ought to throw his ass in the slammer is what I think. Don't you, Chris? Michael Vick.
Yeah, of course.
When you go to where these fights have happened, you'll find a couple of dog corpses or a pit full of blood, says Mac Dickinson, a Louisiana state trooper who heads that state's dogfighting investigation. Will open up their kennels where they'll put dogs after they fought, and they have blood all over the walls. You ought to have Michael Vick's blood all over the walls, if you ask me. Diane Jessup, former Washington State Animal Control Officer, says with dogs that don't win, it's not uncommon for them to be electrocuted, shot, hung, or burned. But what troubles her even more is the way the dogs are maintained, kept out in the mud on a short chain, or a lifetime of that. To me, that's crueler than the fighting, she says. Catherine Destreza, who is Director of Humane Law Enforcement for Louisiana, the SPCA, has been on about 30 raids in the last 3 years.
About 30, man.
And she says the animal owners will file the dog's canine teeth into a sharp point, or they'll put ground-up glass in their fur before a fight. Nice. I mean, what kind of barbaric a-holes are we talking about, other than Michael Vick? At some raids where spectators have fled into the woods as police invaded, Destreza says abandoned toddler-sized chairs and nearby milk and cookies suggest some people consider dogfighting family entertainment. Well, this is Louisiana. What do you expect? Housed by you. More often, law enforcement officials say the sweeps net drugs, weapons, and gambling money. Of the 65 dogfighting arrests he's made in the last 5 years, Sergeant David Hunt of the Franklin County Sheriff's Office says there's only been one where we didn't find drugs. Hunt testified before Congress last year at a hearing that led to legislation making dogfighting a federal felony. That, Hunt says, has increased the efforts of federal law enforcement. Vick's indictment was handed up this Tuesday in Richmond, Virginia Federal District Court. He faces charges of transporting fighting dogs across state lines and engaging in dogfighting. Conviction could mean a 6-year prison term and a $350,000 fine. Oh! Vick and the 3 other men are scheduled to have a bond hearing arraignment July 26th, the day the Falcons begin training camp. Wow, how appropriate. After a meeting involving NFL Commissioner Roger Goodell and the Falcons, the league will let Vick keep playing, the AP says. The AP reported that a person with knowledge of the meeting who requested anonymity so the case would not be influenced said the NFL would stick to that position for the foreseeable future despite its new personal conduct policy. Vick's case doesn't include drug or weapon charges, but Hunt says it's a textbook example of how law enforcement often stumbles into a dogfighting investigation. In Vick's case, a drug-related investigation by the local police of a Vick family member took place at Surrey County, Virginia, property owned by Vick. Law enforcement took note of the presence of numerous dogs. Further searches were conducted, and 55 pit bulls were seized. Eric Sakach, West Coast Regional Office Director for the Humane Society of the U.S., has been investigating dogfighting for about 30 years.
About 30, man.
And estimates 40,000 people may be involved in the blood sport nationwide. Dogfighting traditionally is associated with rural settings, a.k.a. rednecks, but Sakach says the biggest growth is at the street level in cities. Hunt agrees, saying at a recent seminar with Chicago police that he was told that gangs are increasingly engaging in dogfighting. Instead of these guys getting into a fight and police getting called, they'll fight their dogs instead. That's really macho, isn't it? My dog's going to kick your dog's ass. Isn't that macho?
Sure is.
You sound like you're still
showing up. No, I'm drinking now.
Typically, dogfighting cases are not resolved quickly in court. One of the most publicized cases in recent years goes to trial next month, 2 years and 5 months after the alleged breeding center of Floyd Boudreaux and his son Guy in Broussard, Louisiana was raided. Guy Boudreaux. Louisiana State Trooper Dickinson led that raid March 2005 and alleges that the Boudreaux-bred pit bull puppies sell for as much as $5,000. Dickinson also says he's raided 2 dogfighting operations in the last week, but is rarely able to break up events in mid-fight. They never disclosed the location until an hour or two before. He says it may be in a field or a warehouse. They might fight 4 dogs, then go to another location. During the same 20 raids he's conducted the last 3 years, Dickinson said, we've seized AK-47s, explosive devices, a kilo of crack. The drugs and weapons associated with this sport are unbelievable. Until Vick's indictment, perhaps the most prominent dogfighting case involved the New York State prosecution of James Friccione, known to authorities as the Al Capone of dogfighting. Is that Friccione or Friccione? Friccione. Former Orange County prosecutor David Hoovler described the 2003 raid on Friccione's property as entering a Spartacus for puppies, where authorities found 18 animals, many severely wounded. The compound included treadmills where dogs were trained for stamina, a fighting ring, and an electrocution chamber. Friccione was later convicted of animal cruelty charges, sentenced to between 2 and 7 years in prison. 3 years after the conviction, Hoovler, now a federal prosecutor, still remembers the scene he encountered April 23, 2003. He says one of the 18 dogs was missing half a jaw, another suffered about 70 open wounds, still another had scar tissue covering around 75% of its body. At least 13 of the 18 animals were injured. I've been to a number of murder scenes, Hoovler said, but I was appalled. He couldn't believe it. Well, it's the good old American way, baby. Rednecks, cockfights and dogfights and all of this,
all of these things,
all this redneck behavior, all of this kind of activity. Like in Hialeah. They still got the cockfights going there in Sweetwater and Hialeah?
I'll ask somebody who
You
goes.
ought to know. It's your people, man. It's like a kind of a hobby, you know.
Sure, yeah.
What? So what do you like better? You like the dogfights or Domino's better?
Pizza?
We got 1,054. Oh, I'm not touching that. We need a half a vote a minute to get to 1,100. 0.5 votes per minute to get to 1,100. 1.6 to get to 1,200. I think Eric lost it. I think he officially lost it sometime during the show today.
Neil, God. As you walk down the street, as you drive in your car, you've already passed several of them without even knowing it. They're here and appear when least expected.
Hey there, pretty lady.
Hey.
Can I buy you a drink?
You can do more than that.
Oh, really?
Oh, yeah.
Right.
I got something for you.
Really? Where?
You'll have to grab my leg.
Okay.
Now move your hand up.
Oh, man.
A little farther.
Okay.
A little more.
Oh, I like that. Ooh,
right.
What do we got up here?
There.
Like what you feel? Oh, my God!
Transformers. More than meets the eye. Way more than meets the eye. You know, in fact, you should really... rated R.
12:32 at 560 WQAM. We got Mad Dog coming up at 2. I'm getting a little scratchy throat and everything. I better go lay down.
You know what would soothe that is this cucumber mojito with mint.
You're not having another one on. How many is this?
This is still number 3.
Oh, I see.
This is the third one. That's my limit.
Okay.
Third mojito?
Third drink.
Oh.
1062 on the pool. The most obnoxious South Florida radio personality. Hank Goldberg, 197. Humper's opening up a little bit of a lead, but it's still a battle. Steve Kane, 183. Mr. Ego, I bet you he's all puffed up. 183 people voted for me. Oh, yeah. Jackass. Sid Rosenberg, 175. Dan LeBastard, 115. Danny Boy, he's, he can't do no better than number 4. George, 94. Yours truly, 68. Boy, you got me. You're pulling away from me. You got me by 26 votes. You're obnoxious, George.
Yeah, I know. They're just jealous because I'm getting all this food and booze.
And that $100.
That, too.
Geldy, 62. Stu Gotts, 29. Mad Dog, 27. Kenny Walker, he's got 25. Blah, 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 blah. Kim Camper, 24. Joe Rose, 23. Castronova, 22. He's moving in on our morning guys. He's making his move. The Big O's got 12. Jim DeFetus has got 4. And Defoe's only got 2. You know what he's like? He's like Frankie Pentangeli. Small potatoes. Remember that? That scene with Hyman Roth?
Sure.
Hyman Roth? He's small potatoes. That was Hyman Roth. That was and I always thought that he lived in Hallandale at once upon a time, but that was on the beach, because we know he lived on Miami Beach. And once upon a time, he lived on Collins Avenue and walked his dog on Collins Avenue, and all the old Jewish ladies, oh, he's such a wonderful man. Remember those days? No.
I don't know.
Now, where the hell do I have that thing about Meyer Land? Oh, it's
right
not
there.
about...
There it is.
Huh?
Right over there.
No, it's about Jackie Mason.
Right?
There's Jackie, what's her name? What the hell was her name? Jackie Bales.
On the streets of heavily Jewish Miami Beach, Lansky became an elder statesman, a living legend.
The most pious Jews in the world in Miami Beach were the holiest people to whom God is everything. Even God wasn't close to Meyer Lansky. As soon as they saw Meyer Lansky, forget about God. This was God. They used to worship him, follow him, look at him. If you walked down the street, they would talk about how slow he walked, how fast. Did he have a dog, a cow, a horse?
Exactly. Did he have a dog? If he was riding a horse, they'd have talked big time. You see a Jew on a horse? Wow.
Why not?
What are you doing, Meyer? Just horsing around. Oy vey. The Big Lie of George W. Bush, writes Brent Badowski on the Smirking Chimp. Let's sell those certificates all over again. Okay, that was quite an exercise. How long did it take us? About 20 minutes or so?
Yes.
Not that, yeah.
19.
19? You were actually counting the minutes?
It says it on the website.
It does?
Yeah.
I don't understand. It says it where? What does it say?
Okay, if you go to the Neil's Half Price Deals page.
Yeah.
And you hit Past Deals, it'll tell you how long it took for the previous ones to sell out.
One moment, please. Let me get on the right page. And you click what?
Past Deals, just above current offers.
See. Oh, and actually we're telling them how long it took. Sold out in 1 hour and 2 minutes, Blue Moon. Hobo's Fish Joint in 29 minutes. Rivals in 19 minutes. And the River House in 1 hour and 2 minutes. So this was actually the best one ever.
That's what I said.
So what the hell were you bellyaching about? Oh, geez, we still got 3 left. Oh, Neil, you're really stinking the joint out today. What were you talking about?
I don't know.
Now, which is the one that we thought we sold out in like 1 minute?
That would be Hobo's.
And come to find out, it was 29 minutes. Well, that's not bad. But this was 19 minutes today?
That's what it says.
Well, I think I deserve a pat on the back and on the ass for that. A nice, because it is a sports station, and these sports nerds, man, they're very big on patting each other on the ass like it's a real heterosexual thing to do. I think it's really gay. I don't care what anybody says.
We'll have Boat Camper give you a pat on the ass.
No thanks. No thanks. How about having Boat Camper give Hank a pat on the ass, at least to have a big target?
Maybe he can teach him how to use a computer.
Maybe he can give Jim DeFetus a pat on the ass with both hands. Brent Badowski says it's repeated by Republicans on the floor of the Senate and restated on this side only yesterday, and it goes like this. The Democrats have an al-Qaeda problem, and this war, which was started with a big lie that claimed it was necessary to defeat bin Laden, must be continued to promote that big lie, that to change the policy would help terrorists when exactly the opposite is true. How odd that the title of Al Gore's brilliant film, An Inconvenient Truth, is used to repeat this falsehood when Gore's brilliant book, The Assault on Reason, was the most sweeping and devastating destruction of this lie that created 3,600 Gold Star mothers and allowed bin Laden to escape, regroup, and gain strength. George Bush and John McCain will be proven right about Iraq? No, the only question left is how many must continue to die for the vile, wrong, self-destructive war, and how far the Senate Republicans will go to let this travesty continue, even though most of them know it's wrong, even though it's the cancer that's destroying the Republican Party. The new National Intelligence Estimate is not an argument to continue the status quo disaster, but an argument to end it. The NIE makes it clear why American troops should not give their lives to perform the function of the Baghdad police supporting a corrupt Iraqi government, a death squad infiltrated Iraqi police, and an Iraqi army that after years of alleged American training has gone down in readiness after the surge, according to our own commanders. George Bush and John McCain will be proven right. The NIE makes it clear that our troops should be redeployed to concentrate on the fight against al-Qaeda outside of Baghdad and to protect the borders across which arms and terrorists enter Iraq. The NIE makes it clear that George Bush's Iraq war has created more terrorists than it killed, diverted both our military and intelligence from the real threat, and destabilized and destroyed our global military force structures at the very moment that Bush's policies have created more terrorists and allowed bin Laden to regroup and gain strength. Democrats have an al-Qaeda problem, and George Bush and John McCain will be proven right. George Bush will be morally impeached by history for that blood-stained moment when we could have killed bin Laden at Tora Bora, and George Bush said no to our special forces, who were pleading for reinforcements because he was so obsessed with fighting this Iraq war that has done so much damage to our country, our troops, our credibility in the world, and the real threat that George Bush neglected. The war against the real enemy, bin Laden, was neglected to create a war against a threat that only existed in the big lie talking points of neocon delusions pushed by a president who is an incompetent commander-in-chief, promoted through fear, advanced by lies, deformed by cruel deployment of troops, pursued with torture that created countless new terrorists, covered up by commutations and protected with coming pardons, issued by leaders who fear convicted criminals and liars will turn state's evidence against those who abuse their oath of office. The big lie that we had to invade Iraq because of bin Laden, the big lie that we have to continue this tragedy because we should be afraid of terrorism, the big lie that we promote liberty and fight terrorism with torture chambers, the big lie that we should be ruled by fear rather than courage, the big lie that we win hearts and minds with corrupt occupations and over 100,000 unregulated mercenaries, the big lie that we support our troops with cruel deployments and preventable deaths and scandals that plague wounded troops and disabled heroes. Which of these will George Bush and John McCain be proven right about? George Bush's big lie is based on the deadly falsehood that something has gone terribly and tragically wrong, and we should continue it and escalate it and repeat the catastrophes in even larger ways with even greater death and even greater damage to our military and our spirit. No, Democrats do not have an al-Qaeda problem. America has an al-Qaeda problem, and the reason is George W. Bush, who lacked the vigilance before 9/11 and then shamefully exploited 9/11 for a policy of delusion and destruction that the American people and our friends throughout the free world want ended here now, once and for all. To which I would say,
absolutely correct, sir.
Nice going, Brent Badowski. You know Brent?
No, not well.
How about Brent Nussberger? You know him?
No.
Look at this. We still got a three-way battle here, although Sid Rosenberg is fallen into a kind of like a distant third. I don't think he's going to get it back. He was leading for quite a while there. The Humper's got 198, Hank Goldberg 198, Steve Kane 187, an 11-vote lead, and Sid Rosenberg has got 178. You got 94. You're going to go over 100, mister.
On NBC, dating pandemonium ensued when older gals compete against each other to date a younger guy on older gals who want to date a younger guy, followed by younger guys who want to date older gals. We have 23-year-olds in program development that have been in television for almost a year now, bringing you cost-effective entertainment tailored for your small mind. You just keep weaving down the road in your Explorer on your cell phone, soccer moms. We're General Electric, one of the world's largest defense contractors, and we have business before the White House that cannot be disturbed. So you keep watching NBC on your dashboard as we bring good things to life. And then kill them.
12:45 at 560 WQAM. Happy Thursday to you. We got 1,086 votes on the poll. We got 1,100 made in the shade. I think we can go for 12 today, Chris. Whatever you like. Whatever makes you happy.
Sounds good to me.
Yeah, I'm sure. See, I do all the work. I work my ass off to get these on, and then you take the credit for it.
Of course.
That's my fault. That's because I spoil everybody. That's what I do. Just like the Godfather said about Santino. What did he say? Do we have that?
I'm a sentimental man, and I spoil my children, as you can see.
Do we have that?
I don't know.
Well, I know we got this.
What's the matter with you? I think your brain is going soft.
Yeah, like that.
Well, that comedy you play with that young girl.
Don't ever take sides with anyone against the family again.
Ever.
Ever.
Ever. Oh, I love it.
I kept saying, Michael Corleone did this, and Michael Corleone did that. So I said, yeah, sure.
It screws up all my arrangements. Tom, can you get me off the hook?
For old time's sake.
Can't do it.
Can't do it, Sally.
Sally. Don't call me Sally.
Tell Mike it was only business. I always liked him.
He knows that. Hey, Sally. Here's a little something for you. 12:47 at 560. I still can't figure out where the hell that was on. 3 nights they had no commercials, commercial-free, and like 7,000 hours of Godfather. And
Bravo?
Where was it? Was it on Bravo?
Bravo, maybe?
I don't know. You can keep saying whatever you want because I have no idea. Maybe on some Canuck channel. I don't know. If at first you don't succeed, fail again, says Capitol Hill Blue. Not Doug Thompson. This is just the whoever wrote it. They don't put a name on it because they don't want to get hunted down in the woods like poor Doug. They don't want to get chased down in the mountains of West Virginia. With his lies-based Iraq war a failure and his presidency in tatters, an unbowed George W. Bush is launching a futile effort to broker a Middle East peace. Like all his efforts, the attempt is doomed from the start. Oh, don't let Bocamper hear me say that. Doomed. You hear what he said? He said coon again. He said coon. He called George W. Bush a coon. You know, really, when you look back on that episode, that is just... Are there any words to describe it?
Sure. Use some.
Pathetic. Embarrassing. Humiliating. Acceptable. Unbelievable. Believable. Bush's push for a resolution of the Israeli-Palestinian peace is seen by both friends and foes as little more than posturing by a president who is grasping at straws to leave some legacy from a failed 2 terms. I bet you Tom Jitka don't like the fact I'm reading all these left-wing commie pinko stories because they're all true and because he's a right-wing lunatic. Somebody in the question and answer thing accused him of being a liberal in the Sun Sentinel on Sunday, which I found very amusing. Even he found it amusing. Hey, we know you're a fascist, Tom. You're not fooling anybody. It won't work, it can't work. Everybody except Bush seems to know so. Reports AFP. Weakened by rising public opposition to the war in Iraq, Washington this week multiplied its efforts to make an impact in the deadlocked Israeli-Palestinian peace process. Or as they say here, process. But analysts say despite U.S. President Bush's call for a fresh peace push, his move risks being viewed as pure posturing because his administration signaled no change in its oft-criticized Middle East policy. Shortly after Bush announced plans for an international Middle East peace conference to be chaired by U.S. Secretary of State Condoleezza Rice later this year, his spokesman scrambled to downplay expectations. The talks were announced just before the meeting in Lisbon of the Quartet of Middle East powers today. U.S., European Union, Russia, and the UN, and Europe and Saudi Arabia urged participants to produce solid results. Both Washington and Europe believe fresh peace talks are the best means to weaken the Islamist movement Hamas, which has seized control of the Gaza Strip, and strengthen moderate Palestinian President Mahmoud Abbas and his newly named Prime Minister Salam Fayyad. France said its support for one peace bid depends on the inclusion of the final status of the Palestinian territories in the talks' agenda. This kind of conference will only bear fruit if, between now and the talks, confidence is fully reestablished between the 2 parties, Foreign French Ministry spokesman Pascal Andriani said. Andriani also urged Israel to make strong gestures and called on all Palestinians to renounce violence. Hold your breath. Take a deep breath. Saudi Arabia, which has authored an Arab peace plan that calls for normal relations in exchange for Israeli withdrawal from Arab lands occupied in '67, said the meeting should not shy away from the key issues. Saudi Arabia hopes this will come within the framework of a serious international endeavor that tackles the core issues of the conflict, leading to the dismantling of Jewish settlements in the Palestinian territories, a Saudi spokesman said. White House spokesman Tony Snow Tuesday insisted it wouldn't be a conference but a meeting, adding, I think a lot of people are inclined to try to treat this as a big peace conference. It's not. Well, thank God for that, because there ain't going to be no peace. It ain't going to be big or small. Well, here's a guy eating pasta on CNN. However, Dennis Ross, who served as U.S. Middle East envoy under former President Clinton, said the talks risk being purely symbolic. Palestinians aren't looking for symbols now. They know the difference between symbols and reality. Let's hope the Bush administration does as well, Ross wrote in the New Republic this week. Results on the ground and real hopes will help Abbas's Fatah. Rice will do well to keep this in mind, Ross said. A credible negotiation process is one thing. A symbolic event like an international conference where only hardline speeches are given that highlight how little prospect of agreement there is and where there's no practical follow-up is another. Critics accused Bush, who has 18 months left in office, of trying to cobble together a hasty effort for peace that would not include foes such as Hamas, Iran, and Syria. Bush's latest foray into the thicket of Middle East politics leaves him trying to salvage some sort of legacy in the region as time runs short on his presidency, Peter Baker and Robin Wright reported in the Washington Post this week. The New York Times said Tuesday the announcement signals another pivotal shift for an administration that is desperately seeking some kind of foreign policy victory in the volatile Middle East that would draw attention away from the war in Iraq. Meanwhile, administration officials who refuse to recognize any link between the situation in Iraq and the Israeli-Palestinian conflict also expressed the will to hold fresh talks with Arch for Iran about Iraq. However, State Department spokesman Sean McCormick stressed that Iran's continued behavior is leading to further instability in Iraq and says any new talks would not be a negotiation. Bada-beep, bada-boop, bada-bop. All of these things. Middle East peace. I mean, what the hell are they talking about? Are they delusional or what?
Yes, absolutely.
1,093 votes on the poll. We're going over 1,100 this hour, Chris. Boy, you got it. You've really been doing a hell of a job today.
Yep.
Of eating. The most obnoxious South Florida radio person. Now, did you check the thing again just to make sure that we don't have, like, some came back like last week?
Yeah, they're also.
You're positive?
Yeah, I checked it.
Well, I'm going to check it again.
Go ahead.
Because I don't want to leave here with just my brother coming out of the toilet with just his, sold out. Just his thing in his hands. Remember when he goes in the toilet, Michael?
Yeah.
And he reaches behind that thing. Well,
right.
What is that? Is that like the towel holder or whatever, dispenser? What is that?
No, he was reaching behind the tank there, but it wasn't immediately.
Oh, it's behind the tank. Well, thanks a lot. And he didn't find it right away, and he started getting frantic. He's like, a little panicky there. And then, of course, he comes out and bada bing. That was a good scene. I like the way McCloskey.
Mm-hmm.
He's got like a piece of the veal on the fork, and he puts it to his mouth, and then all of a sudden the blood spurts out of his forehead, and he's gagging a little bit. Yeah, it was kind of a gag reflex. I know something about that. 1093 on a poll. Let's take a look at those top contenders there, baby. We got a lot of pretenders, of which we're a couple. Well, you got me by 23 votes, 95 to 72. I'm so proud that you're more obnoxious than I am.
Well, if you work at it,
Maybe that's because you're on more often than I am now during the... there's Hitler again on the CNN. For a second there, I thought it was your president, but it was a better mustache. The most obnoxious South Florida radio personality, Hank Goldberg, the Humper, 202. He's opened up a nice 12-vote lead. Steve Kane, 190. Sid Rosenberg has got 179. He seems to be dropping out of the human race. And then Danny LeBastard Boy's got 120. Now, you were saying before the show today that the Humper, even though, he's had his detractors in the past, and he pisses off a lot of people because he hangs up on a lot of people and says things like,
hey, stupid,
like that, But nevertheless, he seems to have risen to new heights. I mean, taking the lead from Mr. Ego and from Swid Rosenschwartz and Mark Foker.
Excuse me?
Folke? Mark Folke. Don't you remember Representative Mark Folke?
Oh, that's right,
Yeah, with the child molesting priest. I guess maybe it ran in the neighborhood or in the family or something like that. Or maybe the kids just couldn't run fast enough. Speaking of running fast enough, is Gary Sarner still working there? Because so help me, if it's the last thing I do, I'm gonna get somebody to just beat him with a club. He's hopeless, man. This is a guy, and Chris was saying before the show that what an a-hole Gary Sarner is. He says he's got such an ego, he's got his own secretary. Do we have any other sales holes that got their own secretary?
No, they have to share the secretaries.
So how come Gary Sarner's got his own... That's why he keeps getting hired. He's gotten fired 1,500 times there, and they keep bringing him back because he keeps finding more copies of those naked pictures. I'm positive of it. The Beasleys and the Billy Goats, in the backyards. Positive. What other reason could there be that Gary Sarner is... it's probably the same reason that Robert Grieper, the Grim Reaper, the Lord of the Board, the man with the sword who ought to be gored. Probably the same reason that he's there. Oh, there's Tom Cruise in Germany.
Dynamagnates.
They're on to him in that whole Scientology thing, and of course that other thing.
You fairy.
Arnold, this is not a tumor. It's the 1 to 2 hour.
Yeah! Ain't ready. What's up, y'all? This your boy D-Mike. You see, I usually do songs with, hooks and concepts and shit, right? But that, man, I'm trying to go platinum. So I'm about to rock this. Check this out, y'all. Read a book, read a book, read 'em up. Book, read a book, read a book, read 'em up. Book, read a book, read a book, read 'em up. Book, read a book, read a book, read 'em up. Book, R-E-A-D-S-B-O, okay.
Okay, I have to interrupt this because something really explosive just happened here.
What?
I just farted so bad that even I can't stand it. Now, what do I can't stay in here. You want to do the rest of the show?
No, you gotta listen.
Tough it out?
You dealt it, now you gotta felt it.
How about snuff it out? Oh, Lysol time, excuse me.
book. Not a sports page, not a magazine, but a book. Book. Not a sports page, not a magazine, but a book. Book. Not a sports page, not a magazine, but a book. Book that one. Read a book, read a book, read a month. Book. Read a book, read a book, read a month. Book. Read a book, read a book, read a month. Book. Read a book, read a book, read a month. Book. R-E-A-D-A-B-O, okay. R-E-A-D-A-B-O, okay. R-E-A-D-A-B-O, okay. R-E-A-D-A-B-O, okay. Raise your kids, raise your kids, raise your damn kids. Raise your kids, raise your kids, raise your damn kids. Raise your kids, raise your kids, raise your damn kids. Raise your kids, raise your kids, raise your damn kids. Body needs water, so drink that. Body needs water, so drink that. Your body needs water, so drink that. Your body needs water, so drink that. Buy some land, buy some land. Spin it real, buy some land, buy some land. Spin it real, buy some land, buy some land. Spin it real, buy some land, buy some land. Spin it real, brush your teeth, brush your teeth, brush your damn teeth. Brush your teeth, brush your teeth, brush your damn teeth. Brush your teeth, brush your teeth, brush your damn teeth. Brush your teeth, brush your teeth, brush your damn teeth. Where deodorant, 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 where deodorant. Coffee stick, it's not expensive. It's coffee stick, it's not expensive. It's coffee stick, it's not expensive. It's coffee stick, it's not expensive. Read a book, read a book, read a month. Book, read a book, read a book, read a month. Book, read a book, read a book, read a month. Book, read a book, read a book, read a month. Book, R-E-A-D-A-B-O.
See, I don't know about you, but I think that a day without playing that bit is like a wasted day. It's like a day without the sunshine.
I'll never
like
let a day go by again.
Bryant. Don't let no Dagos
I
go
said
by.
Dago.
Okay, now here, look, can you hear this? You hear that?
Is that your nose or your ass?
No, that's. I beg your pardon. My
Well, you
nose
were
or my
farting.
No, I'm not going to fart on the air. Are you crazy? We can't even play make believe ones. I'm going to start cutting cheese for real on here. No, that's my Lysol spray.
Oh.
What is wrong with you?
Where do I start?
My Lysol disinfectant with antibacterial action kills viruses, bacteria, mold, and mildew, and eliminates odors. And you know how it's spelled odors on here? Very Canadian.
Mm-hmm.
O-D-O-U-R-S. Kills odors. And this is the country scent. Ooh, it's heaven sent. And you know something? This stuff stinks worse than almost as bad as the fart. You ever smell Lysol? Well, you obviously have because you got some there.
That's right.
Gross. Why does it have to smell so bad?
That's how you know it's working.
I should have had some of that lilac. Somewhere I did have some of that pansy lilac spray. Kind of like the kind that Ethan Skolnick used to cover up his bad bowel movements. Remember those glorious days and those glorious holes?
No.
When Bo Camper and Kenny Walker were talking, it's mostly Bo Camper, about being at Ethan Skolnick's house. First of all, nobody knows who Ethan Skolnick is, number one. Am I right, Chris? Does anybody know who that is?
I guess. I don't know.
If you walked into Dayland right now or into Westland, into Hialeah's Westland where they're doing the limbo rocket J.C. Penney's under the toilet, if you walked in there and you ask any 1,000 people, how many do you think would know who Ethan Skolnick is? Much less give a crap about how his crap smells. But nevertheless, that, it made good fodder for the show, I guess, for your fodder. 1,105 votes on this poll on one of the great. This is intense. This is exciting. If there's one bad failing that we have besides putting a lot of crappy polls on there and taking the easy way out, because Charlie B. and Sean sent us like about 90% of the polls. You notice this one I made up myself yesterday.
I did not notice.
And you want to know why? Because I'm an agent provocateur. Because I figured it would be like stirring up some crap, And the audience loves that. As opposed to paper or plastic, like that. Body wash or soap. Now, you guys aren't still using soap, are you?
Who are you asking? You know my position.
What is your position? I forgot.
I use body wash now. For a long time now with the
Chris?
apricot scrub.
As I've told you other times, I use body wash.
Even a manly fat guy like Chris, who's got a nice girlfriend, even he admits to using body wash. You people out there that are still dropping the soap, I'm going to tell you one thing.
Gay.
That's what it sounds like to me. Soap went out with knickers and white bucks. Even you guys remember white bucks.
What word did you say?
You heard what I said, white bucks.
Oh.
Like Mark Folke.
That's not the word I was talking about.
Like that fag Mark Folke, the former congressman from Palm Beach County. The most obnoxious South Florida. Seriously, I mean, that whole thing about soap. It's like old dial telephones. Remember the old? Of course you do. The old phones.
Sure, rotary dial.
Rotary, yeah. I mean, we like having a rotary phone. Right, exactly. Only some kind of a lunatic, some kind of a maniac does stuff like that when there's something better available. Body wash, baby. Smear it and get one of those loofahs, too. Because otherwise you wind up using half the bottle every time you take a shower. Although the fact that you might be taking a shower, that's a step up for a lot of you guys. The most obnoxious South Florida radio personality is the Humper. It's still tight, though. We still got a good three-way battle going on. By the time you sit down here tomorrow morning, God only knows, you're going to have a big tune-in audience to find out. All the people that can't afford a computer, you know, or are too stupid to go to the Internet cafe. Now, one thing about South Florida, and I could be wrong about this, but like most real cities nowadays, the last few years, have got like Internet cafes all over the place. You know, like Berlin and Amsterdam and Toronto and real cities, New York. Now, are there a lot of Internet cafes in South Florida?
I guess. I don't go looking for them, but I know.
What kind of an answer is that?
All the Starbucks have them. I think downtown Hollywood is all Internet, and lots of places we have wide swaths of...
You have wide what?
Swaths.
Swaths?
Swaths.
Swath? The most obnoxious South Florida, now, when are you getting so many votes, is Hank Goldberg, 203, Steve Kane, 195. That's tightening up again, baby. They're doing the tighten up with Archie Bell and Drells. Have you got that? If you've got that, I will just swoon. I'll fall on the floor. I'll fart again.
Archie who?
You know, Archie Bell and the Drells. What do you mean, Archie who?
And what am I looking
kind
for?
Of a music? You're always talking about what a music expert you
Archie?
are. You know,
Sugar?
Not the Archies. Archie Bell and the Drells. Do the tighten up. Yeah, I think that's what your brain needs is the old tighten up. Boy, I think you're losing it. Since Kelly went on across the street, you just haven't been the same.
I'm his biggest fan.
There you go. Was I right?
About what?
Archie Bell and the Drells?
Oh, yeah.
So.
Hi, everybody.
Hi.
I'm Archie Bell of the Drells.
How y'all doing?
Glad you told me.
We don't only sing, but we dance just as good as we want.
You going to guess the year? Or
In
what?
Houston, we just
Let's
started
go.
a new dance.
I want to hear where they start singing music. The tighten up, yeah.
This is the music we tighten up with. First, tighten up on the drum.
Yeah, then tighten up on your
rectum. Come on now, drummer. What's the tightening up
okay,
on
that's enough. Archie Bell and the Drells, man. Was that a medley of their hit or what? I don't know. You got any more of their stuff in there, or was that it? What's that?
Well, it was a big hit in '68.
Oh, no. I remember that, but I don't know what the name of it is.
I Can't Stop Dancing.
Is that what it's called? Oh, no. Okay, that's enough. I guarantee you won't hear on the ticket Archie Bell and the Drells. I'll guarantee you that. I'll bet you a lot of money on it. And then, of course, they'll probably dig it up and play it, you know, just out of spite. Who's on at noon over there? Do we have any ideas that Stu Gotts' boyfriend? Who's on over there, Chris? Do we have any idea?
I have no idea because I'm, already busy at noon.
Doing what? Eating? Eating free food on the Neil Rogers show?
Yeah, something like that.
By the way, I'm very glad. I'm pleased now because I was a little bit depressed there because last week I thought we had the power to blow out those 50 like in 1 minute or whatever, and then it turned out you're right. It was that we overloaded the thing. There were all those people on at the same time.
Correct.
So 29 minutes was our fastest, or 19 minutes. By 10 minutes, that was our fastest on the draw. Nice going, Neil. Thank you. And, of course, Duff will come back from vacation next week and say, boy, you guys are doing a hell of a job. And you know what? We are. We are. I don't think Jolly Joe Bell is going to come in there and say, boy, you guys are really doing a fantastic job with that half price. He's not going to do that, is he? He probably listened to Kiss. He's probably kissing it right now. Like Bubba would say, kiss it. Hank Goldberg, 203, they're saying Hank's obnoxious. I mean, if this was fat, then I could understand it, although Jim DeFetus would have him beat, hands down, your big fat pantaloonies. When you're wearing a pup tent for pants, then you know you're fat. Remember those days when I used to wear the Guayaberas?
No.
You don't?
Before my time.
I guess that was probably at INZ, when I was going at about 240.
We have a spy report.
Yes?
I'm not going to say who it's from because, He's a recent employee of QAM, but says Boog's on.
Who's on?
Boog.
The Boogster. Oh, he's not going to be there very long anyway. He's leaving. Well, they sure got like a make-believe, like a penciled-in lineup, kind of like what we used to have. Remember that? Like in the 2 to 4 segment, we had like Geldy one day and Mo the other day and Les the next day. Wow. Steve came 195. He's only 10 behind, and Sid Rosenspiel has got 182. Dan LeBastard's making a little bit of a move. He's got 122. Not that he's going to catch the others, but he's making a little move. Can you smell it? Remember, that was me. And George has got 97. You're about to enter the 100 club, Mr. Rodriguez. Woo. How do you like that?
You know that
You're
means.
About to move into the big time. 98. You're starting to get close to Dan LeBastard's ass. In fact, you can probably smell it. I got 73. You got me by 25. You got me beat. And Geldy's starting to move up. He's got 65. Geldy's right on my ass, and boy, I'm sure uncomfortable about that, especially from the rumors I hear about him. You've heard those rumors, I'm sure.
No.
You haven't? I'm not going to tell you on the air. It has to do with things like that.
We play with each other naked in the street.
Your Jockstrap Authority, 560 WQAM presents the Hank and Joe Smackdown.
And this corner, Joe the Deadbeat Bell. And in this corner, Hank, where's my cheddar cheese? Cheese makes me feel better. Gold boy.
Hey, you motherfucker. Hey, stupid. You the motherfucker.
You know, wait a minute. Am I to understand that the motherfucker that you're referring to is me?
That's right, Cole.
Oh, I don't have to take that from you. Now you just stand right there while I straighten my tie.
You got any idea what would happen if I closed my fat ass?
No, do tell.
I'd break your tongue, you fat banjo-strumming, brown-eye loving hick.
Look who's calling me fat.
You and Bruce Beasley should have butt babies together.
What seems to be the problem with you? Maybe there's something I won't do about it.
I'm cold.
So turn the thermostat up.
That's your job, do-boy.
Do-boy?
That's right. Do as I say. I'm cold.
Wear a sweater. You're not cold.
Yeah, I'm cold.
I'll punch you.
Go ahead. Throw your best shot.
My fist is stuck.
Remove your fist from my fat fold.
Trying.
And while you're at it, get me a pillow.
And you know what? Oh, gee, and I got out of that thing. I was going to play it, and I got out of it. Why the hell did I do that?
I don't know.
Where it says, oh, my God, if I hear Hank Goldberg again, I'm going to throw up.
Oh, my God.
You know that one?
I do know it.
Well, don't worry about it.
Right.
It's not worth it. That's what the fat-ass Jolly Joe said. Anyway, I was just sitting here. My psychic powers are just... Look at that. A body found in the well of a plane at San Francisco International Airport.
Yeah, well, don't look at me.
As what's-his-name said in Clockwork Orange, Malcolm McDowell, well. And why do they talk like that? What is wrong with them?
Dim said that, first of all, and they're British, and that's the answer to that question.
Oh, I see.
Well. They don't say the L's and the L's.
Well. Yeah, Dim did say that.
They're H's.
Wasn't that when they found him and beat the crap out of him?
Right, when they were cops. Well.
Well. Now, that's one of the great movies. Take all your kids to see that, okay?
I do.
Clockwork Orange. And people say, oh, but it's got a big ceramic penis in it. Well, big deal.
I met it. It's plastic.
What does that mean, you met it?
I met the penis, and it's plastic, filled with water.
What does that mean, you met it? What does that mean?
It was making an appearance, and I went and met it and got my picture taken with it.
What do you mean the plastic penis was making an appearance?
Yes.
Let me ask you, was it signing autographs?
Shook it.
Did you shake its a hand?
It was in a glass case. I wasn't allowed to touch it.
Oh, my God.
Or I certainly would have posed with it.
It was the actual one from the movie?
Yeah. It's on my MySpace. If you go into the my MySpace pictures,
I thought it was very impressive the way it kept rocking back and forth. You know, he kept pushing it, and it was like rocking back.
It was great. I want it.
Yeah. Well, she came to a nasty end.
Cut the crap, Sonny.
And then the scene that I love, probably the best scene in the whole movie, is when he's upstairs in the bathtub, singing in the rain, and the old crip sitting downstairs in the wheelchair, like, he spazzes out. You know, he goes into a spastic attack because all of a sudden he realizes who's up there, who they've taken in. And he starts like, his whole face turns, his head turns red. Great movie, Clockwork Orange. If you haven't seen it, or even if you have seen it, that's something to do this weekend. Kill a couple hours.
Here's some trivia you might not know. Remember his assistant, the big muscle guy that he replaced his wife with?
No, of course.
Julian?
Right.
That's Darth Vader.
Get out of here. Get out of town.
I choice you not.
Darth Vader?
Impressive. Most impressive.
I'll tell you what's impressive. We have 1,133 votes. We need 1.8 per minute to get to 1,200, which we're not going to do. Not going to happen, Eric. You can put all kinds of numbers on there and stats and crap and charts and graphs. It's not going to happen. It's the 18th de Julio, man. And the 19th. 19 de Julio. Well, you're going to have to start teaching me to speak really fluent Spanish.
I'll give you the important things.
I already know the important words, okay?
No, not the ones you think you know. Yeah, that's a good one. That's a good one to start.
Puta.
Right. Sure. Puto. Puto is male.
Yeah.
Right. You might want to use that often.
I'm saying I can say on the air, like
yeah, male pendejo. Prostitute.
Pendejo.
Right. Pubic hair.
A-hole.
You can say habla inglés, maricón.
No, I do say that. I say habla inglés, bugarón.
There you go.
You moron. You moron. That's what the Italians say. Maron. I wonder what that really means. I know Jimmy Marone used to drive at Yonkers. And then there's Jimmy Marone Jr. at the Meadowlands. Couldn't drive his finger up your nose. 1,134 votes. That's not the important part. The important thing here is that top three, man, the most obnoxious. I never realized when I made this poll that we'd have such a good battle.
Mm-hmm.
Hank Goldberg, 206. Steve Kane, 198. They're only 8 votes apart after over 1,100 votes. 1,134. There's Rob Marciano, who's only on there because he looks good and because the fags like him. Chili sauce botulism.
Castleberry's food plant here in Augusta, Georgia.
In Georgia. Well, that's good. Those Georgians, man, most of them ought to be in the ground anyway. Poison them, okay? Hot dog chili sauce leads to recall. 4 people got sick. Boy, can you imagine if you get sick from that? Talk about the Green Apple Quick Step. Wow. Makes my experience in Amsterdam seem like a walk in the park. Maybe if I would have found a park real soon, I could have walked in the park and, taken off my underwears. Hank, 206, Steve Kane, 198, and Sid Rosensteel has got 184, Kranzberg Schwartz. Sid Rosenstein, 184. He's 12 votes behind, and he's only 22 behind. And he's 14 behind Steve Areno, Mr. Ego. Dan LePastard, 125, and George. Let's hear it for George. Just topped the century mark here, 102.
All right.
102. See, they can't make up their mind what they want Rob Marciano to do. They know he looks good, or at least on camera anyway. And so they got him on doing the news. He's doing the weather. He's cleaning the toilets. He's all over the place. He's doing the limbo rock in the tea room, to keep the hired help happy. Those who are.
Gay.
He would fit in real good at Channel 7, wouldn't you think, Rob Marciano? They'd be all over his ass. Literally. Anyway, let's move along here, okay? Too much of this falderall. And you're not saying much because you probably got plastered from all that booze.
What?
From those beer teenies.
Right.
Now, I don't know because I'm not a drinker, as you know. But
blackberry martini also, and a cucumber.
Blackberry martini. Now, that sounds really damn good. I love blackberries.
It was. With giant blackberries in it, big as your fist. I don't know where they got them.
Really?
Must have been specially grown because we have blackberry bushes all over in North Carolina. I've never seen any that big.
As big as your fist?
Or at the store. They were huge.
Now, I'm curious. Is that a bit that we can still play? That fisting?
Are you kidding me?
What? Of course not.
Please, yeah, play that.
No way.
I'd love to go home a half hour early.
Well, why did you say, are you kidding me? You knew I wasn't going to play it. Jesus, give me a little bit of credit.
I don't think we can say the title anymore.
Oh, so I told you the thing about, I got to remember to talk about that this afternoon when I call down there. The Social Security Administration has called or has sent literature in the mail, and I have to call them this week to apply for my Social Security because this year I'll be 65. It does give me some solace knowing that the humper is 67, though. And then, how old was Rick Shaw, did we say? 68? He just retired. So I got 3 years to go. 3.5 years. Are you working on my new deal with Norma? Norma did a hell of a deal for you, I'll tell you that.
Yeah, I know.
Especially on this summer deal.
Yeah, I know.
He left you in the lurch, and you want to know probably because you're not
gay,
and because you're not,
probably,
and you're not cute, and you're not cooperative.
I smoke dope. Doesn't that count for something, Norm?
That should count for a lot right there. In fact, tell him that you're normal.
Well, I wouldn't go that far.
No, I wouldn't either. 1,140 votes. Actually, we need. No, we're not going to do it. According to our extravagations, we need 1.8 per minute to get to 1,200. Well, why did he start doing that? Did he give you any explanation on that, or what? He's taking the other ones off there because he knows we're not going to get to 1,300 and 1,480 million. So he's taking the other ones off of there. So this is a new game that we play with Eric now. He gives us the... And I guess, he must have a pretty boring life. Either that or he's bored with the show, which I can understand.
Good morning, Americans. It's Paul Harvey. Stand by for news.
Good afternoon.
Joe is sitting inside a bar just looking at his drink. He looks and looks and looks and stays that way for approximately 30 minutes. Well, at that moment, a big troublemaking bully, Jake, walked over next to him, picked up the drink from Joe, and drinks it down. The poor man begins to cry, and Jake the bully says, "Hey, man, I was just joking. I'll tell you what, I'll buy you another drink. I can't stand to see a man cry." "No, that's not it," says Joe. "Today has been the worst day of my life. First, I overslept and was very late to an important meeting. My boss was outraged and fired me. When I left the building to go to my car, I found it had been stolen. The police said they could do nothing. I got a cab to return home, paid the cab driver, and the cab drove off. It was then I realized I left my wallet in the cab. Finally, I got home only to find my wife in bed with another man. I left home and came to this bar, and as I was thinking about putting an end to my life, you show up and drink my poison, Paul Harvey."
Good day.
Good day?
That's not bad. That's kind of cute. Anyway, speaking of psychics, so I started to mention this in the last segment, and then, of course, you sidetracked me with some swill. But my psychic abilities just shock the crap out of me every now and then.
Yeah.
So about before the last break, I was thinking to myself, where the hell has our good friend Brandon been lately? Remember Brandon?
Sure do.
And I go on the MySpace thing, and I click it on, and guess who had just sent me a message at that moment?
Brandon.
Good thinking. How'd you guess that?
ESP.
He's psychic, too.
Wow, ESPN? I didn't know he worked there. So my psychic power. And he sent me the message to tell me that he's tired of a read a book. Generally speaking, he's a good guy and a good friend, but, hitting me when I'm down. Maybe we ought to take a poll on that. What do you think?
Why not? There's another one you don't have to think of.
Sounds like a plan for you. Not for me. You think I want to let the audience dictate?
Yeah!
Well, no, you're wrong. Well, maybe I'm wrong. Maybe that thing, it's long. There's no question about that. It's a very long bit. But, how can you be tired of it? It is so brilliantly done and so brilliantly edited by yours, you truly.
Yeah, I'm proud of it.
Well, you ought to be. You ought to be.
You know how people are with their short attention span.
What does that mean?
They get tired of things quickly.
Maybe we ought to ask, what was the most overplayed bit in the history of the show?
That's not bad.
You like that?
Jack in the Box.
Oh, how about...
Bridge Tender.
Bam. We can't play this one. We haven't been able to play this for a long time. But I bet you could doctor this up, though. All you got to do is
that would kind of defeat the purpose now, wouldn't it?
Yeah.
Well, I was driving down I-95 the other night.
Yeah.
And somebody nearly cut me right off the road. I decided it wasn't going to do any good.
I can do it myself,
Right, but it'd be like telling a joke without the punchline. What would be the point?
It goes like this. Were ye born in Aspen?
Hole.
Or did you work in...
Wait a minute. What was that?
Huh?
I did a magnificent job there chopping it off, and you said the whole word.
I didn't say a
whole word.
You
said the whole word.
I just said one word.
Yeah, that's the whole word you said. What is wrong with you, man?
I'm an ass.
You know what it is? It's the booze. He had 3 drinks, folks. Excuse him. Give him. We excuse because it was the booze, okay? And guess what? You still lose. Wow, you're going to be...
Oh, we're fine.
When you stop and think about it, I was thinking this before to show you how my mind has gone to hell this last month. But stop and think about the tremendous talent that we have lost off this radio station in the time that we've worked here, 9.5 years.
Sure.
There was... And now... And Jeff DeFlorist. And Joe Rose, but the rumors are that Joe's coming back. He's coming back home. Those are the rumors. And who's he going to be working with? What's his name? Shoeless Joe Jackson?
Yeah.
No, what's the guy's name?
Jason Jackson.
Jason. See, you knew it before.
Yeah, I had to think about it again.
I think you've been hitting the sauce there, too, man.
I had like 2 of them, so you know.
You did?
Yeah, I didn't have the Bertini, but I had the other 2.
What a drunken brawl this is here today. What kind of crap is this?
I started brawling,
I'm going to go get me a bottle. I'm going to go get some Grandma Boone. Yeah, I'm going to get Grandma Boone. 11:49. You know, Eric was right. We did have a shot at making 12 today, but you know what? That's a bad precedent. Like we got a bad president. We got a president who put the mess in Mesopotamia. We got a bad president, and that would be a bad precedent to get 1,200 on the 19th of Julio in the middle of the dog days. Then George, poor little George. Then you'd be starting to pull like in the middle of my show the day before at noon.
I'm going to start at like 10 after 10.
Yeah, the day before.
Right.
And you still won't get 1,000. How do you like that?
I will, but I don't care. I still
if you
won't
put
care.
something good on there, like, you know, paper or plastic, and or read a book, yes or no, yay or nay, overplayed, can't play it enough, what do you think? See, if we didn't have such a tight race going here, a three-way race on this one, I would take it down right now, and we could do the other one interim, you know. Because we do have the ability to do that. What?
This is too important to change right now.
What's too important? The
this
one we
poll
got
right now, yeah.
Well, I would agree with that.
We need closure on this.
Yeah. Yeah, close your yap.
That was funny.
Oh, look at this. We're giving away some more stuff on here. I can't believe we're actually doing this. Well, why are they doing this? I mean, it's almost like they're doing something for this show. Is this because we got the new... Oh, and also, the guy that replaced Miguel, and remember Miguel that got stabbed in the back, everybody, who was a great guy and was working here for 100 years, and because Jolly Joe's got all these friends from Raleigh and he's firing everybody and bringing his cronies down. So the guy that replaced Miguel is leaving soon because they weren't paying him enough money to support him and his family. He's going to go to work at Target or something. Isn't that what you said?
Yes.
That's what we heard.
That's the popular rumor on it. So, maybe we can bring Miguel back. What do you say?
I don't think that'll happen. They've already found a replacement for the replacement.
Oh, that's right. What's the guy's name? Fez?
Flea.
You know something? If you're smart, that's what most of you people in Florida will do. Flee. Now, this is another guy that's a good buddy with Shoeless Joe, Fat Ass Joe.
Yes.
I see. Fat Ass Joe is bringing all his cronies in. You know, the good, hard-working people that we've had there at QM all these years. And now Fat Ass Joe is knocking them off like a domino game, baby, one by one. Caller number 5 right now to the WQM contest line wins 3 $25 gift certificates to Rivals Waterfront Grill in Hallandale. Now, is it Hallandale or is it Hollywood?
Hollywood.
So why does it say Hallandale? Raleigh, Roley, whoever, you're an idiot, man. Who typed this up?
His name was Raleigh, but it's Roley.
He said he didn't write it.
He didn't write it.
You're okay, Roley.
Well, last. He's going to get fired, too.
Yeah, you're going to get canned anyway, so I shouldn't pick on you.
I bet it was the new guy that wrote it.
Yeah, probably the new guy, probably the replacement guy that they're training to read to when they fire your ass. He wrote this crap. Rivals is in Hollywood, not Hallandale, okay? Not that they're that far apart, okay?
They both start with H.
Yeah, they both start with H. So does Homo. So does Holy Moly and Holy Moses. Caller number 5 right now. And how come he's not answering the phone? How can he be in there with you? Because you know these lines are going to...
He moves fast. He's already there.
Isn't he a big fat guy?
Roley? No.
Well, when you hear Roley, you think of like Roley
sure
Poly,
do.
you know? Don't you? That's what I think of.
But nevertheless, he's not fat.
By the way, Steve Sloan, is that the guy's name? One of our new salespeople? He sounded like a pretty good guy.
He's a good guy.
He came in there before the show this morning, and he talked to me about some, would you do a spot for that? I said, hey, you sell it, I'll do it, you know. That's me. Because I have no credibility left anyway. But anyway, he seemed like a real good guy. He came in there and acted like I knew who he was, or at least like I was supposed to know who he was. And I thought, who the hell are you? Which I would play that drop, but
Who the hell are you?
There you go. See, I know you have it on your thing there, on your 3. See, I got important things like that. And like
gay.
Caller number 5 right now to the QM. Now, do we have the number? How come we don't have the phone number here? That would help. What's the number to the contest? Who printed this thing up, man? This is the biggest piece of swill.
800-227-0560, I think?
No, say it again slowly. 1-800.
227 0560.
1-800-227-0560, okay? I mean, wouldn't that be nice? The QM contest line, like everybody's got it written down on their sleeve somewhere, in the palm of their hand, or maybe on one cheek.
Rectum.
Jesus, God almighty. What the hell is this? This better be something really important. Oh, here's my July 1 pass from Continental Airlines. I've got 80 trillion frequent flyer miles on airlines that I'll never fly again. Maybe I should give those to George.
Okay.
Because you're going to be flying all around the world. You know?
I'd like to go to Montana.
For what?
My family and something that you won't understand ever. If you live to be 1,000, the wonderful, wonderful wilderness where people aren't. That's
like
the important part. Where people, no, not Shelby.
Where they have
the mountains,
they have orange hair.
The mountains, the
they all
forests.
look like the boosters.
Where
they
people
all have orange
aren't.
Hair
No. Where I go, they don't have orange hair. They don't have hair. They don't have people.
Where you're going to go, it's going to be really hot. I'll tell you that.
Yes.
1-800-227-0560. You're way over 100 now. Look at that.
All right, it's already gone.
What's already gone? The 5 certificates? Well, of course, that's $75. Caller number 5 won $75 at Rivals in Hollywood, not in Hallandale. We're going to find out who printed this crap up, and we're going to guillotine him before 2 o'clock.
I hope Mike can get us a good deal tonight. Sure he will.
Sal, Tom, the boss says we'll come in a separate car. He says for you two to go on ahead.
Hell, he can't do that. It screws up all my arrangements.
Well, that's what he said.
I can't go either, Sal.
Tell Mike it was only business. I always liked him.
He understands that.
Excuse me, Sal. Huh?
Tom, can you get me off the hook? For old time's sake.
Can't do it, Sally.
Are you overwhelmed by the non-stop media coverage of Paris Hilton? Then you may be suffering from PFS. Paris Fatigue Syndrome, a debilitating condition that affects the part of the brain used for thinking. Fortunately, there is a cure for PFS sufferers. Simply stop watching CNN, MSNBC, Fox News, CNBC, Headline News, the CBS Evening News, ABC World News Tonight, NBC Nightly News, the CBS Early Show, Good Morning America, The Today Show, Inside Edition, Access Hollywood, Entertainment Tonight, The Insider, and E! News Daily. Instead, do your brain a favor and listen to...
Oh, God! There you go. Isn't that clever, the way they leave that open there for you to stick your...
They suck.
Really clever, they do, you're right. Anyway, I'm going to make that pledge. No more Paris Hilton stories, unless she croaks. If she croaks, we'll have it on the air with and we'll have a party on the air.
Well, if we get more stories about her ass herpes, we'll read those too, I think.
1,162 votes. We could have made 12 today if we'd have put the big rush on that, but we had too many other fish to fry today. We had lots of stuff going on, and we sold the rival certificates in 19 minutes, which is a record. A record.
Yes.
And here, Chris there was making me feel all guilty and bad about it. Gee, you're so slow today, God almighty. If
it's always my fault.
It's always your fault, that's right. Maybe we'll get you a T-shirt that says it's Chris's fault. We had one from IOD that said it's Neil's fault, that blanket. You know, if it rains, if somebody farts bad, whatever.
Yeah, you know about that.
What, somebody farting bad?
Bad, yeah.
I got news for you, man. When you're all alone and you can't even stand your own, then you
got call the doctor, I think.
I beg your pardon?
If you can't stand it, I think you should call the doctor. Something ain't right.
What are you talking about?
If you fart so bad that you can't stand the smell of it.
Yeah, you think there's something wrong with my innards?
I think you're rotting from the inside out.
You think I'm rotten from the inside out?
I think your flesh is decaying.
Gore, human species in a race for its life. Poor Al. Poor fat Al, you know. There's an African proverb that says, if you want to go quick, go alone. If you want to go far, go together. We have to go far quickly, former Vice President Al Gore told a packed, wrapped house at Benedict Music Tent in Aspen, Colorado yesterday. With many scientists pointing to a window of less than 10 years to moderate the effects of global warming, he said, meaningful change is still possible, but it's a race. It's a race. The size of the climate problem, worldwide atmospheric carbon has jumped from 280 to 383 parts per million in the last century. The polar ice caps are melting 3 times faster than anyone's direst prediction. China is on the verge of surpassing the U.S. for greenhouse gas emissions. Bark beetles and wildfires are sweeping across western forests, or as Sullivan would say, bark beetles. Here's the beetles. Temperatures are climbing, sea levels rising, glaciers vanishing. By some estimates, humans must pull 30 gigatons of carbon from the atmosphere. What the hell is that?
Get that, it might be the phone.
I better get that. Hello? Yes, I'm on the air right now doing a radio show. Okay. By some estimates, humans must pull 30 gigatons from the atmosphere to have a shot at reversing such effects. What we're facing worldwide really is a planetary emergency, Gore said. I'm optimistic, but we're losing this beetle badly. Gore, interviewed by business luminary John Doerr, spoke at the Aspen Institute's Green Tech Innovation Network Summit, a gathering of world innovators hoping to boost the development of green technologies. It's going to take a 90% decrease in carbon emissions from developed fossil fuel guzzlers like the U.S. and a 50% decrease worldwide to get a handle on the problem, Gore said. Changes that will take major leaps of political will far beyond what current politicians see as feasible. That reduction, which would be mandated by a worldwide treaty, could happen through carbon taxes, cap and trade, technological innovations, and energy conservation and efficiency, he continued, as long as it's accompanied by a major grassroots public shift to sustain it at the level necessary. Are you following this? Good.
Nope.
Gore advised the audience to compare the blue orb of the Earth to Venus, where daytime temperatures reach 867 degrees Fahrenheit and it rains sulfuric acid. The two planets have the same amount of carbon, Gore explained, but Venus just happens to be in the atmosphere, while most of the Earth is still locked underground. The habitability of this planet for human beings really is at risk, he said. So is there room for optimism faced with the specter of Venus? Gore thinks so, but it's not in the current parade of presidential candidates or the slew of camera-related bills moved through the U.S. legislature, measures Gore called baby steps. Baby steps. It's going to depend on what the hearts and minds of the people are, he said, and that's part of the motivation for Gore's recent Live Earth event, a 24-hour, 7-continent concert series that featured more than 100 musicians hoping to raise awareness of the solutions to global warming. Live Earth reached countless concertgoers, he said, as well as more than 8 million people by web streaming. And, of course, isn't that what it's all about? Let's sing a lot of songs, etc., and so on. Add to that the fact that Gore has spent 30 years trying to bring the world around to the efforts of global climate change, at last several touring with his slideshow, now the Oscar-winning documentary Inconvenient Truth, writing books and teaching 1,400 people worldwide how to deliver the global warming message in several different languages. Next week it'll be China, then India. It's a different kind of campaign, he noted, one that surpasses what he might be able to accomplish in a bid for the presidency in 2008. Dealing with this climate crisis is not only what we have to do, it's our chance to get our act together, he said, pointing to the escalating loss of tropical forests, the crisis in Darfur, the destruction of global fisheries. The problem is so big, any solution must be comprehensive, and it should be a wake-up call. These are not political problems, they're moral imperatives, Al said. Al Gore. Big fat Al Gore. I think he's part of the problem himself. Can you imagine how many carbon, you see what I'm saying, emissions he's sending into the atmosphere?
I can only imagine.
My God, every time he farts, man, it sends that thing up a notch. 1,180 votes on the world-famous poll here, and let's take a look at how we're doing, how they're doing. Well, we're not. I mean, you're in the hunt. You're certainly in the top 5, I think, to stay. Mm-hmm. The most obnoxious South Florida radio personality is Hank Goldberg, 218. It's still a battle, though. And the battle for second place is tighter than it wishes. There's Tammy Faye, who weighs 4 pounds, and her battle with cancer with Larry again. Larry's obsessed with Tammy. I didn't know Larry was gay. You know, I thought that's her crowd.
I didn't know he was gay.
Like your buddy Carlos, Freaky Carlos out there in front. Isn't he obsessed with Tammy Faye? Yes.
Yes.
It's a fag thing, you know.
Apparently.
Hank Goldberg, 218. Steve Kane, Mr. Ego, 202. Sid Rosenberg, Schwartz Krantz, 201, who's now the big morning star across the street. Wait till you see his number. Can we rent the Mount Palomar telescope? Dan LeBastard, 127. George Rodriguez, you eclipsed the 100 mark and then you kind of slowed down. 105. You realize we have 1,180 votes on the poll? We could have easily made 1,200 if Chris would have just been a little more assertive.
Sorry about that. I'll try harder Tuesday.
28 votes you got me by. George has got 105. I've only got 77. And you know what that reminds me of when I say 77?
WABC!
That's right. Every time I read a number with 77. Geldy's got 67. Boy, that Geldy, man, he's killing us. He's going to kick our ass. Anybody believe in that? You know the thing about him that really amazes the hell out of me?
What?
And people like him, is that he really believes he belongs on the air. That's the thing that's scary to me.
People keep putting him on the air.
Paul Castronova, 33. Stu Gotts, 30. How many Stu Gotts got?
About 30, man.
Mad Dog, 27. Kenny Walker, 25. Ken Bokemper, 25. Joe Rose, 23. The Big O, Orlando Alzaquiri's got 13. Jim DeFetus has got 4. And Defoe has got only 3. I don't think they would say that Defoe is obnoxious, just unlistenable, you know? Is what they're really trying to say, don't you think?
Mm-hmm.
Unlistenable. And you know who destroyed him? I've told you this a million times anyway. Your boy Steve Nicol destroyed him and his show.
Yeah, my boy.
Your boy Steve Nicol, baby.
Yeah.
He's a big fan of yours.
Uh-huh.
It's Dave in Miami town.
Yes.
At 560 WQAM. All right.
Don't like all the Harper. Every time I see that retarded dimwit on my TV. He's President Dumb. Republicans muscled in, an inarticulate idiot. I don't know why they would want this guy, but now he's here. We're screwed the next 4 years with President Dumb. Oh, what I'd give to count votes once more and get who we all voted for. Lips drumming
stupid deed. Abu Ghraib. Mindless, drunk, and rich kid. He's even dumber than me. He's President Dumb. You don't care what it took. You got him in by hook or crook. Christian right knows what's best for you and I, but have no fear. We've got a great leader here with President Dumb. President Dumb. President Dumb. Bye, bye, bye.